So currently we are on steel. This is the first round of steel, and DK is struggling as it looks like we're going to have a pop off from Nursey here going into the red side. Ski's only at 94%. He's running away, trying to keep his life, going to get back up to 100, but here comes Slanish. He wants to get a kill as well as Edney coming in over the top, and down he goes. Pop it, don't drop it. He has not learned that lesson. Watch some more. Eckstein as Skis is sizzling on the ground for the second time this game. As Kresnik onto the point, 2 minutes left in the clock here for K&D. If they lose this round, they're going to lose this first map, and they're losing so many players right now. Nursey down incredibly low as the soldier's going to be chasing them into that E point. Nursey running for her life. She's going up the stairs, running for help. But the Spamfest, the engineer, is the cleanup crew, as he is saying thanks for that free pick, as that is looking very good for DK right now. Position. So really nice job there by Spamfest cleaning that up, but obviously that was set up by everybody else getting the early damage. But Skis!
Feint got Skis and Boar again. Who's gonna stop it?
Yeah, and Corsa does go down. No Demo Man. ×4 onto his point. Pain Train onto the Soldier class. DK just getting some respawns up, but this isn't looking very good right now. ×2. The Scout's going to capture this, and K&D sneaks away on this E point, and they are going to take the first map away from DK. Well, and the big thing here, too, is there's only 4 minutes and 44 seconds left on the clock here. If K&D takes this point with a super advantage, they might be able to just win this game completely. Level 3 Sentry Gun going to be focused down here, doing a good job. Billy Source is trying to reflect it, but finally he does get taken out. But here comes Carl on the backside, trying to get some damage, but he's finding it only onto Uber players. Ender's going to be trying to make a play. Down he goes, but this is looking really good right now for K&D. They're continuing on, but here comes out the Uber charge. Down comes in Van. He's taking out so many as Def was on a 2K right there. Nursey trying to escape with her life right now. As Carl went down. And oh my goodness, this is looking so good, but Edney from behind, he's getting the frags. Can he do it all? It's only this fight to be able to defend the point. Here comes Aegis. He comes in, he gets the frag. Down goes the sniper as the defense is coming out from the DK side. What a crazy cluster, and somehow they're coming out on top. As the point's going to go back in favor of K&D, and they have huge advantage players-wise. They're already rolling into this final point. Slanish standing onto it. We'll see if Billy can do anything, but no, it's not even going to have a chance. Great job by K&D, just getting aggressive, not waiting on that second point capture. Welcome out, ladies and gentlemen, to this UGC Highlander Season 19 Grand Finals. The second one, actually, it was so good. One, they had to do it twice. As I am Sigafu out here, and it should be a great matchup between two great teams. We're going to be seeing K&D versus DK, and Banny is going to be making his triumphant return back to the DK side after Kresnik came back to K&D. It's a little bit of Ronin versus Froyo again with Banny versus Nursey. It should be a great matchup, and I hope all of you guys have your energy, your hype, and ready to throw out your accusations, if you will. And it should be a great time, and I am Sigafu, joined out here with Eckstein to my side. How you doing out here, Eckstein?
Yow! I'm doing great, man. Still a little jet-lagged and tired, but very, very excited to be here for this UGC Grand Finals. Always a good time.
And we also have Brick to my side as well, who will also be doing the analyst desk again.
Hello, ladies.
As any good time, that's always going to get Brick a good time at the bar, right? Yeah, something like that. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, toss out some hearts for the one, the only, the Vox Day, the man behind the camera, doing all of that great work as we're kind of bringing it in here. And Brick, why don't you kind of take us through kind of what happened in Game 1?
In Game 1, we had talked about how if K&D wanted to beat this DK team, they were going to have to get at Skis. They were going to have to make sure that Nursey had the Uber advantage. They weren't just going to be able to sit there and dilly-dally with DM versus DM or team fight versus team fight. They really needed to take down Skis, take down the heal advantage, and then they could really push off of that. And they did exactly that in both the matches, but most especially in that first round against DK, which really looked like it had tilted DK for the most part.
Yeah, there was madness going on that last series. DK, you got to hold on to your advantage from that upper bracket, but it gets to be difficult when you got a team like K&D storming up. And this time we have slightly different rosters, at least with Banny coming in here. I want to get your guys' opinions how that changes things up. But let me just run down the rosters for our audience here real quick. We'll go over DK and K&D. For DK, we got Vand, Corsa, Jordan, Banny, Carl, Spamfest, Skis, Boar, and Vipa. And then over on KND, we have Slemnish, Etney, Katsy, Giraffe, Kresnik, Ender, Nursey, Yosh, and Feint. Both teams pretty stacked up. Brick, what do you thinks of like your thoughts on Banny stepping in with DK here? What else do they have to shuffle around with their roster tonight, and how does that change things around?
Them gaining Banny is a very big thing. It's going to help the combo. That's who they're used to playing around, and Banny also gives them this insane and just absurd DM that they really didn't have. Corsa stepped in very well, did a great job, but having Corsa off the class of Soldier, which I felt like primarily was one of his best classes aside from playing Sniper, I think their flank really missed that. I think Corsa going back on Soldier is going to help them more so than them getting Banny back. But so it's a plus regardless, but I think having Corsa and Soldier is going to help Vand and is going to help Spamfest and ultimately will also help Boar and Vipa. And then, obviously it's going to be really hard for any combo to try to peek aggressively against Banny, and so that sort of deal is going to help them as well. The only question mark I'm going to have is Jordan. Is he going to be able to step in? But for the most part, from what we've seen out of both Katsy and Billy in this grand finals, is a very passive playstyle from both Pyros. So really, for the most part, just as long as Jordan doesn't get himself into really bad positioning and put himself into where he's getting a lot of deaths, it shouldn't really matter so much that he's playing Pyro rather than Billy.
If we see Jordan kind of dropping a little bit in terms of capability and performance, what classes do you think then we would see in K&D maybe shine a little extra hard, even though, maybe with some of those we're also expecting them to do pretty well?
Obviously, the two biggest counters for Pyro, or that the Pyro class counters, which is going to be Soldier, so Etney, and then Spy, Feint. And on Asheville, from pre-game against K&D, from what I can say, it's not really going to matter so much as who's playing Pyro, because Feint, for the most part, was really just kind of harassing the flank and playing on either side of the battlements and using the Ambassador. So regardless, I don't think it's going to make any sort of difference of who's playing Pyro for DK, because Feint's just going to sit there and he's going to try to Ambassador shots. And that's something you can't really counter as a Pyro. That's just something that your flank has to try to pick apart.
Now, Sigafu, we got a great map selection here tonight. We got Asheville starting us off, and we got Vanguard and Swiftwater. That really is like the gauntlet of Highlander to me, which is awesome. We have King of the Hill, we have Control Point, and then we have a payload map. As we start things off here with King of the Hill, how do you think that differs between the two teams and maybe favors one over the other?
Well, hopefully it favors K&D as it was their map choice. I mean, ultimately, especially on a map like Asheville, it's really a flank-heavy map because unlike maps like Viaduct or Lakeside, particularly Viaduct, it's kind of hard to get across the point. It's hard to get behind the enemy lines. But when it comes to Asheville, all you have to do is jump on a roof and you go over the top, and boom, you're behind enemy lines. And we saw what Slemnish can do. Etney is a force to be reckoned with. I was watching a little bit of the pregame, and I saw Etney consistently going in for bombs and landing that stuff. And so I think that it will be favoring, but I mean, it'd also be interesting as we will have Banny back, and I haven't seen him play so much. Is Benny back? I'm actually not seeing him in the server. Oh, there he is. He's on Devilman. Yeah, I'm not crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what he affects as well. I'm kind of unsure, but I think it's going to favor K&D due to their flank classes.
I wasn't sure if that was a metaphorical, super deep question, about Dota. In Dota they had, is Na'Vi back? That was always the question. It's like, Na'Vi's back. And then it was like, no, they're not really all that great. So is Banny back? That is a good question. I mean,
I just can't read.
he's on demo. I mean, last we saw him internationally, and really the last match that he played was the I-58 6v6 tournament, where he was on Scout with Froyotek. He certainly had a strong performance on Scout, and we all know that Banny can destroy on Demoman. Also, certainly one of the storylines of going into this whole thing is the fact that DK had their last season victory nullified, and therefore are not champions. And Banny has still also thus yet to win a championship and a Highlander. So Banny is a very motivated individual, and I know for a fact that that's gonna itch at him and claw at him. So I think in some sense maybe it'd be good if Banny loses, right, so that he maybe comes back for another season of Highlander.
keep the status quo.
Yeah, he's gonna be bringing the fire for sure. And look to him to bring some bombs. I guess my question then, Sigafu, is there anything like equipment-wise, item-wise, you think that we might see that would throw Banny off in this Highlander format on Asheville here?
Probably spies and snipers just in general. I mean, I know it's not equipment-wise, but really, like, I've played with the man. I mean, I think he's gotten better, but I still think he loathes them. I mean, basically, spies and snipers are the equivalent to minions to him. And I don't think he's ever really adapted. That's why, I was thinking about starting a team maybe a few seasons back, and one of the people I obviously was looking at was Banny, and I actually wanted to bring him in on Scout rather than Demo Man, because Demo Man is such a featured class. It's so much wanting to be picked, and so those pick classes are going to go for you. And so that's one thing I'll watch out for is just, I mean, not so much weapon-wise, but class-wise, is Banny going to be picked off today? How does he fare against the spies and snipers? And is he going to kind of ultimately come on top and prove himself with that?
Yeah, this is a very sniper-heavy map. Vanguard will be maybe a little bit tighter on that since it's 5 CP. It'll just force more mobility out of the snipers until we're getting to the final kind of pushing sections. I guess another interesting aspect that I'd like to ask you about, Sigafu, would be the engineers and what the meta has kind of shifted in on this map. If we're just going to be seeing one style of engineers, whether that's Gunslinger Wrangler, or level 3s being built behind the doors, what might we see from the engineers here tonight?
I don't think we should see anything too crazy like level 3s. Generally, that's not. I mean, some engineers might pull it off, and maybe one of them will prove me wrong.
He will definitely use it. I guarantee you, at least once he will put down a level 3 in that shutter door. I'll be surprised.
I mean, it's very well. I know Spamfest loves his aggressive. He actually ended up getting 2 medic picks, I believe, last game, or maybe 3, as we saw in the intro with one of those. But yeah, I mean, overall, I don't know how much, I haven't been as much into the metagame, so I don't want to speak out of my place. But I mean, definitely just be annoying, be with the Wrangler. I don't know how much they'll actually be using their aggressive engineer style to try to get behind enemy lines. And we'll kind of see that. I mean, Spamfest tends to be a little bit more aggressive than Ender, and so we'll kind of see how that shows up. And maybe we'll see Brick, as Brick kind of points out, maybe he will just jump out with the level 3 sentry behind the shutter.
Yep. It's going to be a tough one to see, and it looks like we are going live if the announcer is to be trusted.
Well, we can trust him,
ladies and gentlemen.
And
0-0, we're kicking off.
Yeah, we'll be out to our first mid-fight on the first map of the second best of 3. This is it. There is nothing left for either of these teams. One is going to come away the winner. The other is going to come away with the second-place trophy here as Yosh getting the better of Skis. And that's a huge medic pick early on in this first round.
Yeah, the medic already down for DK. That's going to hurt things a lot, but the aggression is coming in response. KND is going to have to back Nursey out. Is getting chased by the scout. But no, Slemnish is there to put a stop to it. So at least they get the medic out. They will have an advantage, but the point gets flipped right away.
And I think that's a really good sign. I think a lot of teams, they tend to think, oh, my medic just died. There's no way we can control the point. But you saw DK. They took ground. I thought KD consistently, kind of what I've seen throughout this series, is that they've not actually gotten aggressive in these mid-fights and whatnot. And so I'm kind of, it's not surprising that DK was able to use that aggression, as it looks like KD do want to start to edge this back. Use their Uber is actually going to be a Giraffe going across the point, as well as with Slemnish, who's going to focus down Carl. Banny's going to jump way up into the air as Jordan goes down as well. But KD should secure this point, as it's basically being uncontested, mostly just wanting to keep Skis alive, as it looks like DK is going to just do a slight recontest from this shutter area.
Oh, there goes Skis, though, getting stabbed down. As DK were just getting shut in place. The point's going to flip in the way of KND, and Nursey's going to survive, get that Uber advantage again, and they're going to start ticking this clock back to neutral. Rick, what are you noticing so far?
What I've noticed is that even though DK's had like more time on the point, Skis has been dying a lot, and all KND does is when Skis dies, they just back up, protect Nursey, and then once they have their players all back up, they just rush right back into DK.
Mm-hmm.
DK currently does control a little bit of the point time. As actually the Uber charge is going to come out from the scout, trying to push across the point. They're trying to find some frags, but not really finding anything. Finally, Banny does go down. Van as well, and actually a bunch of frags finally being picked up in the favor of KD. Great defense as Skis also went down in all of that. And so nice job there. Actually, that was Nursey with the crossbow. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, that's a big kill for her to get there. Just the icing on the cake. Because that was a good Uber, good push back, and now they have the clock ticking around in their favor. And they just have to watch out for Vipa here. They eat a Girardi, it's pretty significant, but Kresnik is actually going to dodge the stab there. And DK pushing in, but looks like Nursey, KND just going to back up, get the Uber charge, and then counter push in, especially after that Girardi wears off. Draft switching to the upper top here. They're going to push from the deck. Have to watch for Vipa, though, for sure. Oh, okay, they spot him, no problem. He's going to get away.
This barely. So Ubercharge is going to come off from Giraffe here. He's going to come to recontest the point, putting a lot of damage down onto the scout right there. But nobody else is eating too much damage as Banny still holding forward. Ski's not connected back up with him. Looks like they're going to try to give up this point, but right now it's only Giraffe on the point as Yosh taking down Spamfest as well as Boar in that going onto a 4K right there. Kresnik is going to try to be getting onto the point as we're going to see some spam from Giraffe here, but Kresnik alone with the Fist of Steel isn't going to do it by himself, and a little bit of a strange push here is 100% holding on to Banny, who's jumping across the point. He wants to get onto the medic. Nursey's going to be running away, but Van's going to find him in the shutter, and down he goes. Great pick there as the soldier comes in over the top. Chorus is doing just what he does. Giraffe going to go down as well as a DK. They looked so good in that push, but they didn't get the kills they needed despite taking the medic down, and KD somehow comes away with the point despite.
Yeah, Banny got dunked on in the air there. They got the kill. Oh, there goes Skis, though, going down again to Feint. He gets the sniper as well. Feint was just hanging out by those pipes. Easy stab there. And the medic dynamics crucial here. I wasn't saying that last back and forth. Nursey didn't really have the best Uber. It was kind of awkward pushing forward. But then as the engagement went on and DK pushed in, they also just did not play it very well. And the clock has been taken away for KND. They're definitely have the upper hand here so far in this round.
Yeah, I feel like despite DK's poor play, they're only 30 seconds behind right now. Times 4 Ox point. This is looking really good. Nursey is still not up to 100%. Ender coming in here as well with Etney. What a great combo play. Yeah,
Corsa with the bomb there, getting the kill on Nursey. That whole engagement could have worked out just fine if they did end up getting that Uber charge and keeping Nursey alive. But with her going down now, they're definitely going to get the clock flipped over against them with DK most of the way to an Uber charge here.
Yeah, and it feels like K&D, just their kind of passive playstyle. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to play out of this, because this is the first time, I believe, where Nursey's going to be behind right now, but that's actually not stopping K&D. I say they're passive, but look at this. Incredibly aggressive across the point Draft doing this. A lot of free cap time. Fine Skis is going to pop the Uber off onto Carl. Banny, great jump over the top as Draft is going to pop in the air. Banny, beautiful air shot with that pipe right there, taking down Giraffe, and that's going to keep this point in their favor, but with the 50% disadvantage, K&D is not going to lay dormant for too long.
Yeah, we'll see how this clock goes for him. KND, they're going to get out of here pretty soon here. Oh, there goes Giraffe, though, getting sniped down. That's an unfortunate loss. Definitely going to slow down the offense. They have gotten a snipe going their way with Carl going down. Still going to be tough to get out here and get past Banny. Of course, they're getting sniped now as well.
Yeah, the biggest thing here is that they need to make sure Skis keeps alive on the DK side. They're going to pop in the Uber here. It does actually come off. Slemnish is going to be bringing it onto the Uber. It's going to be chased down into the enemy combo. Banny is going to do a good job of pushing them back, and DK did exactly what they needed to do there, and that's keep Skis alive.
Yeah, KND could be capping a little bit faster here because they're not actually going to finish the cap at all. They really were kind of dragging their feet on it, and they're getting pushed back now into overtime here. They should be able to come out here and finish the cap, but they're going to have to hold it now for 51 seconds without any chance of flipping it. They still have yet to finish the capture.
I think they're waiting for their medic to respawn. Yeah, they're waiting for Nursey to respawn to get the capture up because Nursey would have been put on about a... Yeah, exactly. And so, really nice job. Feint actually was on a 4K right there, doing a lot of work, taking down Skis as well. But DK, everybody is back alive, and they're also going to have a good respawn. I wouldn't be surprised if they just get aggressive right away, even before Nursey has a chance to really do anything. And they might just do that. I mean, every trade that DK makes right now is going to be in their favor, given that they're going to respawn that much faster. But Banny going down early in this fight, and that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, they have plenty of numbers on the point, though. Carl is going to go down. Kresnik being healed up. Nice turnaround to stop the spy. And the scout trying to battle on the point, but no, taken down. And K&D standing strong right now.
Oh,
Nobody
but
for
a
red team
huge
at all.
pipes on the Banny. Sorry about that, I had to interrupt, but Banny with 2 huge pipes taking down Etney as well as Nursey, and Snow medic here on the defensive side.
Corsa with a big shot on Katsi as well. Crushing her. There's still hope alive as Corsa bombing in from the top. He's going to extend it. Corsa, huge plays. Scout coming in trying to clear things up. Does clear up Kresnik. Having a back away. Jordan very slow, low health. Vipa as well, but now they have ×5 on the point. And they're trying to get out here. So is Etney. Etney, oh no, goes down. What a turnaround at the end there. Corsa, huge plays.
Yeah, great job there, and that was kind of all set up after that medic pick, and then they were just able to keep the players and sustain them onto the point. And DK taking the first round off of a map which was picked by K&D as we come into our second mid-fight.
Yeah, and it's brutal to lose like that, but
a great
battle of wills.
Yeah, I mean, double overtime in the first round, I think that spells for how good of a series of games this is going to be here in this second mid-fight as we're coming into the next side. Carl's actually going to be pushed out here. Great job. Look at this K&D. I love how they're all getting aggressive at the same time, trying to peek that quarter, getting just kind of doing it together. And K&D is going to come down, and they should come down with the point. Finally, yeah, they do take down Course. A nice job there, and it looks to be in their favor.
Oh, a stab in on Nursey. Vipa getting a huge kill there.
Yeah, and there you go. That's going to put 100% back in the favor of Skis, and I'm sure DK is going to push off this pretty quickly, though they do lose Carl just before this push.
So the point's still in control of K&D. DK is trying to get out there now. They're finally going to get it done. Took a little bit of time. The clock's still ticking in the favor of K&D. Oh, actually, now they've stopped it. Nobody capturing the point right now. Or it's like,
actually,
I got to get this finished, but if they could just stop this, that's actually really huge.
Yeah, actually it was Giraffe who bombed in. He did just a huge bomb over the top. I believe he took down the scout, and that actually stopped them from being able to do this. And wow, DK is actually now going to come down with this point, and now it's going to be about 20 extra seconds, if not longer, here for DK. I'm sorry, for K&D, as DK is going to be popping Uber. It's going to be brought onto the scout, who's going to want to run through, but he's just going to see a wall of people. He's going to decide to back off. DK will finally come down with this point, but I mean, they're going to have to be a little bit embarrassed that they had to use an Uber to capture that point after they had such high time on it.
Yeah, it took way too long, for sure.
From what I noticed there was that DK didn't want to use their Uber to defend that point after that big bomb in by Giraffe because they felt like it was going to be an out-of-position Uber. So they wanted to wait till at least K&D was baited out onto the point or closer to the point before they Ubered in. But even then, their Uber wasn't that successful in pushing into the K&D combo.
Van takes down Nursey there, and so Skis is going to have about a 60% advantage now.
Yeah, they're getting some good kills on Nursey, but overall they're still just having problems in the frags, making things happen. We'll see if Skis can get out here with his Uber charge. Corsa goes down. Carl working his side alone. Starting to get his teammates out here with him. Jordan gets banged up a little bit. We get a Mintry sentry down by Spamfest.
Yeah, and actually Ender's going to do the level 1 into the shutter. It was actually a level 2, but got easily taken out there with Vipa, who just kind of went in onto the gun. But Vipa takes down Ender, but Yosh going down to a 3K right there, picking up some more kills. Boar wants to get the better of that exchange as DK is trying to sneak onto the point, but Fate with a nice stab. But Eddie over the top, he's going to be right onto Skis. He can't land the shots, but he does get the force out, and that's exactly, I mean, that's good enough in that situation, as DK still has not come down with the point.
Yeah, again, one of those situations, you got to snag that a little bit early. It is a game about time, and they just let a lot of extra seconds tick away there. Now Nursey, K&D, Slimnish pushing forward. Draft's going to lead the way, and they should be able to get some good recapture time here. Banny's trying to search back out here, though, with Skis. Skis takes one shot. Good damage on Giraffe, but he's going to sneak away. Banny kind of getting pushed back again.
And they want to get aggressive, though. Banny, at least, he doesn't want to give up this point for free, and it's not the worst idea in the world, but he has to be careful about where he peeks, as Yosh is staring him down as I say that. And maybe not the best idea to peek in that sniper sideline when the sniper is being uncontested. I mean, he had so many players down as well that I don't think it was really going to be able to do much, but we'll see what he can do, as he's going to get back up on a quick respawn since they don't control the point. And DK is going to look to contest this, as Etney's going to try to make a play, but he's just finds 6 enemy players and easily gets taken down. Skis up to 100%, and DK should be pushing in here pretty shortly. But the big thing is they want to try to get the medic in this exchange, because else Nursey's just going to be able to push back onto the point pretty quickly.
Yeah, they have an Uber charge here, but not going to want to use it. Here comes Nursey and Slimnish. They're going to have to pop out from DK. It also slows down the capture, so really smart play there as well.
And this is just a nice job by DK. What they did really intelligently there is they just didn't try to, like, there's good communication out of the team. I think a lot of maybe lower level teams would have popped in that situation to try to just retake the point. But what DK realized was they weren't going to be contested. Nobody was going to do any job of challenging them. As Draft takes down Van right there, of course, it's trying to make a play, but now that's 3 players down for DK. Banny's going to try to recontest this point. As Etney coming in over the top, he wants to get onto Banny. Down he goes. Carl's going to keep forward here, but he should get cleaned up as well. And Jordan is going to be the only one there to protect his medic, but fortunately nobody is pushing in. K&D with only 26 seconds left in the clock, and this is looking like their round to win.
Yeah, definitely. The sorry, I thought I saw something kind of weird there in a second, but great plays in that push in. K&D have just been looking super strong, taking control of the point, and really, really strong Koth round from them this time.
And 3 seconds as Uber is going to be popped off from Banny going across the point. And she got pushed back, but it's the Uber charge on the point on Carl. You got to pull out your weapon, and what could have been potential to come back ultimately comes out to nothing. And Brick, what did you see that DK was doing differently in that round that caused them to lose so badly?
I think it was more so K&D playing off a little better with their Ubers. In the first, whenever they were pushing in with the Uber charges, they weren't really getting any of the frags or any of the pressure on the skis, and the DK was able to back up right away. And
Yosh starts things off of that. Yeah, big snipe on skis.
I think every single mid fight so far, skis has gone down in some sort of form to yosh or feint.
But the funny thing is DK just keeps going across the paint. Actually, nice job by Giraffe there, as well as Etney to clean up the frags and stop that aggression without the medic. Finally, K&D kind of standing up for themselves, at least on the mid-fight side of things, and they're doing a good job. And this is looking to give themselves the advantage once again. And I think K&D, I mean, they're playing with everything they have because they do not want to lose the map that they chose.
Yeah, I think K&D is just playing much more aggressive with their heals and Uber advantages than they were in the first round, where they were just playing very passively and waiting for DK to come out towards them. And that's the difference that you saw with this mid fight than the first mid fight where Nursey had died or Skis had died, and DK was able to clean up on the rest of K&D and force them out. Where this time K&D just kept on the point and killed everybody else on the DK team.
And Carl got stabbed earlier from Feint. Feint this time gets run by the medic, but doesn't get a chance to take skis down. So both teams kind of getting posted up. Banny trying to make a jump across of sorts. Nothing really happening.
Yeah, and Enny's going behind the scenes, takes down Boar. Enny has just been a nuisance to the DK's side as he just consistently just jumping behind. Slemnish is playing a little bit more of a pocket scout, as Course is going to jump in and return the favor by taking down Yosh. Skis is still being kept alive here. I know we were calling Skis a lot. I looked at the log. Skis and Nursey have died the exact same amount of time, so it's really not in one team's favor right now when it turns to medic deaths, but we'll see if Skis can keep alive right now as Feint's got his number. Actually, Cassie's going to be pushing in. Skis all alone right now, running away to his bed, and down he goes, Feint with a beautiful headshot. Ender is going to find and pop his dead ringer, but it's not going to be enough as Etney is still controlling that area, and K&D continuing their lead on time.
That was huge play by Feint.
I think the biggest differences, though, between Nursey's deaths and Skis' deaths have been that Skis has been dying at inopportune times for his team, like on mid-fights, which really puts his team behind in the starting out with Uber ad or, Uber disad.
Yeah, but as you say that, Vipa taking down Nursey, and that was a drop! +2 into chat there, and that's going to prompt DK to push across the point.
Oh, man.
And now if I'm DK, I want to cap the point, and I want to get really aggressive here in their lobby, and I want to be able to bully out Nursey and the rest of K&D, as K&D only has 3 players up, but it doesn't look like DK is going to do that, and they're just going to back up, and they're going to run to their battlements, which can be quite of a head-scratcher there, especially with the, well, I was going to say Uber advantage, but Skis was actually dead during that entire time of them capping, so.
Vipa trying to get a stab on the heavy as he came through, but not that lucky to pick off Kresnik. K&D actually surging pretty strong onto the point right now. DK is going to have to defend this.
And they're trying to do that. Actually, they're getting across the point. They're getting really aggressive, not having Uber, but I guess that's just because K&D was kind of doing a poke offense where they kind of set a couple players forward and everybody else is playing back. Ski's currently sitting about a 20% advantage, but I'm actually kind of surprised about how passive they're being. I guess Giraffe was down in that moment, so that would kind of maybe prompt some of that passiveness. Skis is going to have a little bit of an Uber advantage here, but DK doing a good job defending the point and looking to flip the time in their advantage pretty shortly here.
Yeah, K&D with this slow push. Slimnish finding the stickies, so they're getting a little... Ooh, actually a lot of damage going on in the corner. And Giraffe is going to push a lot of people back. Banny getting sniped down. Spy coming in, and stickies take out Corsa. Scout as he pushes through. Van taking down Giraffe. Point in control K&D, but they do not have their demo man with them right now.
Yeah, I would expect DK to get a little bit aggressive in this moment with no demo man here on the defensive side. And then also every frag you make is going to be a trade in your favor since you don't control the point. I mean, just imagine when seeing Uber trade in. Here we go. Course is actually over the top, gets the force off. So it's going to give a lot better of an Uber to the DK side. Finally do ultimately pop it off to make sure that Carl and Jordan don't die. And Course is going to again take that height advantage as well as get flashed with that Uber. Great job of forcing out K&D. No real frags going out in their favor except for Kresnik here, who should get caught out. Finally does. Slemnish trying to find a frag as well, but they're all just getting cleaned up. Corsa, he wants to go through, but he opts to back out, keep himself safe. But Van is going to go into the mech. Nursey with a saw, keeping herself alive. Great job there, but they want to find blood, but they opt to just back off as Corsa and Banny are just going to return to the point, down about 20 seconds to K&D.
Yeah, great pressure by Corsa. He's been playing really good so far. He's actually still escaping with 3 health, getting the pack underneath. So surviving to fight another day. Banny coming in, gets a kill on Giraffe.
And this is looking good. Actually, here Corsa onto the point. Gets a lot of damage down onto Kresnik, but the frags are currently in the favor of DK as they're looking to defend the point. Nursey pops off the Uber onto Slemnish. We'll see how many frags that'll ultimately be able to get off, but everybody's kiting so well. We should be able to stay here. Keys is down, but K&D, they pushed with only 2 players, and that kind of ultimately worked against them as DK is now mounting a defense.
Yeah, I think that Uber was more so to protect the remaining players of K&D because Nursey knew that Skis was dead, so that was just a free Uber for her to have.
Yeah, this has been getting interesting. K&D look like they will be able to get out here. Banny, yeah, it takes a little bit for him to start taking damage, but then Catsy reflects a grenade into his face. Takes a heavy to his face as well. Carl getting a stab. There goes Spamfest, so a lot of nice frags going the way of K&D. Help them submit this point. They're going to have an Uber charge to help defend.
And K&D currently being tied 1-1. They're only down about 15 seconds, but this is where heroes are made when it comes to a Koth map because all it takes is one mistake and you lose the round. So we'll see what DK can do right now as they're down about 30%. Have to make sure Skis doesn't go down here. We'll see if they can get a force off, but it looks like they're just kind of slowly try to take ground. Banny just going to be coming back up on respawn.
Yeah, Yosh getting a couple kills. Let's see if we can find any more here. As the clock's just kind of ticking down to 0.
Yeah, and Uber... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
What?
DK's gonna have to come out here, but he just dropped the ball there. Actually,
What happened?
They weren't capturing.
I thought
I think
they were...
the issue was that Skis was on the point, but Skis was once again Ubered, and it was him and his heal target, and everybody else, the scout was above the point, and if you're double jumped above the point, you're not considered capping.
So it's kind of 2 big mistakes
So the
coming out
scout
of
jumped
DK.
off the point. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like, they looked like they were on the point, but yeah, I mean, it must have been just that close. And again, they're just, DK's just waiting just maybe a little bit too close to the line to be able to make plays, and that's going to put K&D 2-1. And if K&D win one more round, they will take the first map in the second best of 3 grand finals.
Yeah, doing it in 3-0 would certainly be a nice way to go about things. They're off to a nice start already. Feint getting some good action on the midpoint. Yosh also getting the advantage over Boar.
Vipa actually gets a really good force off of Nursey as she got hurt really badly by a Banny pipe.
Skis having to use as well in the corner. They might get out just a little bit better, though.
We'll see what they can do. They're chasing down frags actually on their own side. They popped Uber, went across the point, and there were so many players behind them. They ended up doing that. Slemnish onto the medic, and down he goes. Skis! He wanted to keep alive, but only Slemnish. Slemnish, the man, the seeker, the torpedo, continues to find frags in both games. But Corsa going in. Nursey goes down as well,
wow.
and DK at least responds in kind. Though K&D seems like they might maintain this point with Ender and that level 2 sentry gun.
Yeah, I'm behind that gate. Let's go back it up, though. Tucking around the corner as DK come in here. A minute off the clock, but they're going to be able to flip the point in their favor.
And it's looking pretty good. Actually, this is getting pretty aggressive. Look at DK. They're all getting into K&D's side right now. They're trying to kind of aggress through that. And it's actually a really nice job as it's picking up a few frags and maybe catching K&D by surprise. As DK is currently up by about 30%, but look at Skis' health right now. 34 HP. Is anything that touches him is going to take him down. And Giraffe is trying to find a magic pipe onto him, but he only finds it onto Jordan right there. So Skis is going to have to back up and make sure he does not die, as he's not even connected with anybody. So that Uber advantage is slowly dwindling down there. And Brick, I mean, what did you see kind of in that aggressive style out of DK? Did it seem like what were they trying to do in that situation?
It looked like once, like they were just gonna call in to just keep forward, and they got Ender in his level 3 gun that he was building, and then they just kept holding there and not really caring if they traded or died, which was really a big issue. When you are holding the point, you don't want to be trading with the opposing team. You really want to bait the opposing team onto the point, and then you collapse in on them, especially since the point in Koth map is at the low ground, and you can have height advantage from all around the point. DK just try to keep in their face, and they just kept trading like 1v2s and 1v1s, and it just, over time, KD get the best of it.
Here comes the Ubercharge with Giraffe. He actually gets pushed back pretty quickly, as DK are going to be able to finish up the capture here, ever so slowly. There we go, finally on the point. And looks like KD, though, get out. Nursey doesn't have a lot of Ubercharge on her, but Skis does maintain his full charge.
And they're going to be able to continue holding on to that point, and holding on to that charge. That's going to be a lot of advantage here for DK, as they're playing for their life right now on this map, and currently down by about 50 seconds. We'll see what KD can respond with, and they're responding with a dry push and doing a lot of damage. And ultimately, Skis, I don't know if you got forced off there. You wanted to make sure that Corsa was able to be kept alive, but Banny running forward here wants to take down Giraffe, not able to land any pipes directly onto him. He needs to go play a little bit more of Dr. Mario. And we'll see what he can do here, but it looks like DK, they are going to defend the point, but they did lose Uber advantage doing that, and KD probably is going to aggress straight away off that.
Yeah, that was a pretty weak Uber. I mean, definitely the call was Uber so that Corsa could jump immediately, but like an arrow would have worked just the same, and would have worked better, because once Corsa was on the other side and the Uber invulnerability faded, he just died right away.
And so we get the Uber off from the K&D side. Slemnish as well as Giraffe trying to push in. Slemnish trying to chase down Skis. Opts to back out there, make sure to keep his life. But Carl coming from behind takes down the medic. Slemnish able to clean him up as he ultimately goes down for his life. Giraffe's going to get caught in here as well, as DK should be able to put... Actually, no. Kresnik is going to try to capture this point. He goes down, and DK, actually, because K&D tried to chase for those frags, they never even captured the point. And that gave so many more seconds back in the favor of DK, as now they control it with about 30-second advantage, and it's probably going to just keep ticking up as Skis is holding on to 100%.
Yeah, that was an issue there where K&D just became very tunnel visioned, and they had to know that Carl was sitting there with it. You know, he was shooting them and he was sitting behind that barrels. There was no way that they didn't know about him being there, as Nursey instantly jumped on top of him the second that the Uber was over, and all the Uber players were just in DK's lobby chasing for frags, and there was nobody to defend Nursey against Carl.
Yeah, medic protection is such an important concept in both teams. I mean, the higher level of skill you go, the harder it is to protect your medics, so both teams having some struggles with it for sure.
And Edney almost getting a bomb there onto Skis, but he was able to grab a sandwich before he went down, and DK is able to contest and get this point again, but Nursey up at 100% right now. Van is trying to contest him right now, but not able to get the force off like he wanted to. Giraffe doing getting some nice pipes in that area, but not able to connect on too much. But looks like Giraffe and company want to go across the point, as Corsa and Van doing the exact same into their balcony. Uber does come off from the K&D side. It does ultimately find Carl, but I don't think you're going to find too much else with it. And with DK only 2 seconds away from winning this round, they're going to be able to recapture this, but now they're going to have their backs against the wall.
Yeah,
we have seen this before with K&D with their backs against the wall in the previous round, and they were still able to defend it. So it's just all going to depend on if K&D can act off of their aggression and continue their dominance, really, because from log-wise seeing, they have really been wiping the floor against DK.
Yeah, it's been a super strong game for him so far, just winning a lot of deathmatch battles. And they're just going to look to win some more here and finish this game out. Yosh just standing back, trying to get some more snipes on. And Bandy comes out, though. DK looks like they will get a lot of pressure on the point.
And if they capture this, they do win.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there you go. They're going to take it out to a 2-2. And now this is the final round. This is it. We're only playing one half of this map. Whoever wins this round will take the first map in this grand finals.
Yeah, pretty good round by K&D there, but they didn't have the Uber charge ready to go at the end, and that would have enabled them to stop that capture. But there you have it, and we'll see what happens here as we roll out to middle.
And so early on in this fight, Corsa is going to go up and contest Yosh. Yosh, who has been just a thorn in DK's side, taking down Skis, I think at least in 2 of the mids. Skis finally able to keep his life alive, and DK holding their position as well with their medic forward. I mean, K&D, they kind of struggled in a lot of these mid fights to get across the point, and DK actually having their medic alive is allowing them to sustain this hold forward as Slemnish. Annoying Carl right there. Over the top. He wants to get this frag. No, but Skis, nice job surfing away, able to grab the med pack, and DK will come down with the point.
Yeah, Nursey gets the Uber a little bit earlier. The point actually sort of stopped on terms of the capture, but it's going to take a little bit of time before K&D can actually fully capture it themselves. Also, the Uber charge did not get used by Skis, so feint kind of runs fully around. Oh, it's going to get spotted out and taken down. They know where the Uber might be coming from. Edney's trying to stuff it.
Yeah, Kresnik, I think, was going to get backstab, and Nursey wanted to keep him alive, and so they used the Uber charge, but I don't know if that's really worth it. But actually, a lot of players getting fragged up here. Kresnik going to go down, but they did lose DK, lost a couple players prior to this push, and Nursey's going to be able to skate this away, and this is still an uncaptured middle point.
Yeah, that's one of those
Definitely the
Ubers
longest
where...
mid fight ever.
Yeah, one of those Ubers, too, where you, like, Ubered after, like, half your team already died, you know? And then they're, like, standing there, and he's, like, flashed 3 people. And then the Uber's over, and there's like nobody that can even fight with you. So they're in trouble. But right now, of course, they're coming from around. Big jump on over the medic. Nursey's staying alive just barely. Nursey just getting away. Super close stuff there.
Fan of the Bee Gees is sorry, that's a terrible joke. I shouldn't make that joke. But KD is going to ultimately come down with this point. It would seem as DK is going to be holding back on the balcony side, not really contesting as Banny goes down once again, peeking that same angle. I'd be curious to see, I'm going to take a look at the logs here shortly just to see how much he's been taken out by the sniper, because it seems like he's been struggling with that today here on the Demo Man side, and Yosh is just playing so strong right now as finally K&D is going to start ticking down in their favor.
Yeah, Yosh has really had a stranglehold on this game. Oh my god, Banny gets dropped. Does not get snagged by that Uber charge. That's going to be very disappointing. That is not a way to win championships.
And that'll definitely affect this post-Uber fights here, which is more important than the actual Uber fight.
Yeah, and Ski's down to 14 HP. He's going to run all the way back. Slemnish is trying to chase from him, but chose the wrong angle. As Skis is able to keep his life alive. DK not able to get this point yet, and K&D looking pretty strong this round.
Yeah, Carl and Boar going down there. Just really getting difficult for DK.
Big bomb in by Edney
yeah.
getting Skis once again.
That's a great pick. That gives a lot of flexibility to K&D here.
Yeah, but DK, I mean, I feel like in this moment, just aggressive. I mean, you don't really have a lot to lose. Banny, listening to my advice, gets a sticky underneath of Nursey's feet as Van is going to try to push in. Spamfest going in as well. The engineer combo. Nursey, though, gets the Uber saw, and then Asa able to pop the hit.
Wow.
Her Uber, what a play out of that medic, able to keep herself alive. And KD is going to hold on to that point purely from that Uber saw. Great job out of Nursey.
That's a huge play. I mean, that's a big momentum changer to keep her alive right now. That puts her on Uber charges with Skis, as well as them just holding on to the point. They have a minute and a half already gone from it. That's half a round, and it is untouched from the DK side.
K&D, I mean, DK at this point, you just got to be feeling like a little bit just demoralized if you're not able to even get time off this. Spamfest is fighting Edney underneath the point, finally does get the better of that. So only 3 players alive here. Nursey has to be careful not to get caught in, as DK is controlling this point quite easily. But with 2 minutes down off of in the favor of K&D, this is not looking good for them right now.
No, not at all. And they're about to get Uber charge again. Once they get Kresnik and Edney up in the fight, they're going to be ready to go. And there goes Boar. There goes Banny. Yosh getting a kill on Spamfest as well. Yosh just really all over the place here with his frags.
And Uber does finally come off from the DK side. It's going to at least push K&D somewhat back as Edney is going to try to make a play from the roofs, but he should get cleaned up. Finally does. But K&D is just going to flood through here as they got a lot of trades in their favor, and the respawns, of course, in their favor as well, since DK controlled the point. Though Nursey did eat a rocket there, no one's in there to be able to follow it up.
Yeah, they're just having a lot of tough time getting in, whether it's Banny going down or Corsa getting taken out.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's one of those things where it's like, when you go down by 2 minutes at this level, it's incredibly hard to come back from. And the way that you have to get back in the way is that you have to be able to hold the point by being able to win the 100% Uber trades, and DK just has not been able to do that round, but they're doing a good job of just kind of poking this point for free. Kresnik is wanting to get back onto Uber. It ultimately does come out here from K&D, and Nursey has to make sure that he's able to keep himself alive, but with 20 seconds left in the clock, I'd be hard-pressed to see K&D lose this round.
Yeah, it's been a very dominating round. I mean, they still would have a lot of time to get a recap if they were to lose here. Nursey does go down, so that's a big frag right there. And they just lose Van trying to get in here, and then we... Okay, never mind.
It's a little server stutter, but no stuttering for Etney right there as he comes in, gets a beautiful frag onto Skis, and no medic here for this push. DK might be able to re-control this point, but if they do, they're not going to be able to hold on to it.
It's good there by K&D is they know that they've most likely lost this point, and with Nursey dead, you might as well just kind of suicide in and try to get as many picks as you can and delay that point capture as best as you can. And they actually do end up getting some delay, getting some picks, and a really big Skis pick by Etnian.
But actually turned out to be not that big because Skis, they took so long to capture the point. Skis came back up on the fast respawn, so he's already back up and only down by about 10% to Nursey, versus if DK captured that point as soon as they could, they actually would have been in a much worse situation. So with a minute 55 on the clock, DK, they're playing for everything right now as it's 2-2 in this first half.
Yeah, Boar turning it on, trying to find all the snipes that he can to keep his team in this. Had a few there a second ago. Now the Ubercharge coming in, though, the headshots aren't going to matter against that. He's having to back up. Yosh getting a headshot on Banny. That's his demo man. Boar looking out here now. And kind of picking away, but
people on the points. They need to
take
the
him
people
down
on the point.
Yeah, they were able to clean up a lot of players right there, but look at the respawns. I mean, even
Yeah.
if they didn't do it, there's no way that DK is going to come back. Etney set up all of that right there with a beautiful bomb over
Definitely.
the top. It was pushed in with the Ubercharge. That 10% actually ended up mattering because I believe Skis went down at 93%. So we'll see what they can do.
Wow.
But this is it. This is K&D's first map, and we'll see as they go into Vanguard, which was a choice by DK.
And if even if they didn't kill Skis, he would have had more than at least that 7% difference there. So Skis would have had Uber there, so he could have protected himself had Etney not gotten the med pick on Nursey. Or had Etney gotten the med pick on Skis.
Yeah,
Maybe.
definitely.
Quite a spectacle to be killing your own medic as the soldier.
It would have been amazing. It would have been like game changing, like he's inside of Tron or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, we can kind of bring up the logs here to kind of look at this. But I mean, I guess I'll kind of take it here real quickly. I guess Brick, what did you kind of see ultimately being the kind of the deciding factor between these two teams in the first map?
I knew Feint and Yosh were doing really well. I thought the flank for DK was doing even better, with Slimnish going 50 and 23 versus Van's 28 and 30, and Slimnish almost doubling the amount of damage that Van did. I mean, 413 damage to 283 per minute. And then Etney having the 32 frags and 31 deaths. You know, Etney and Corsa were very much even with themselves. Had it been Aegis instead of Corsa and Corsa on demo, I think this would have been a much different story for Candy. I think it would have been more of a 3-1 victory or 3-0 victory. So having Banny and Corsa on their respective classes that DK has been playing with has made a big difference. But obviously, you can't turn away and look away from the 54 kills that Yosh had with only 19 deaths versus Boar's 32 and 33. Boar really making it look like this was the type of map that most snipers hated, with, you know, constantly dying and having more deaths than kills, and just running Huntsman and Girardi because they can't do anything else, and Yosh just laughing at that, just thinking that, oh, snipers can dominate on this map. But I think more so that was just purely because of the dominance that Solemnish was holding, and so there really wasn't a lot of pressure from Vans and Corsa as there was from Solemnish and Etney.
Yeah, Yosh was hitting some pretty crazy shots, though. You know, let's give him some respect. You know, it is obviously always a blend of the team and the individual play. You know, Banny's not going to be able to put a lot of pressure on the sniper if he's getting headshot. And Yosh definitely also, you know, able to get that dominance by just killing Boar twice as many times. So 10 kills from Yosh on Boar. Boar only having 5 kills on Yosh. That dominance was really good. I was also kind of general question for you guys. noticed in the stats, I actually do see that Skis got a charge of Kritzkrieg, which I didn't even see. Were you guys surprised to not see more dabbling with the guns, especially since we got into some weird kind of uber charge balances?
From
Go ahead.
what I've seen on Asheville, crits is really awful. Most of the time, people don't really like running crits in high level, even on product, just because it's so easy to just jump into a medic and get the kill on the med. And it's even more. I feel like it's even easier to do this on Asheville. It's so chaotic where classes are. It's so easy for a class to die on this map, to where having that uber charge to where you are invulnerable is just. It's necessary. You just have to have it. The only time I've ever really felt like switching mediguns has been worth it is if it's 60 seconds or less and you have to cap the point, so you go quick fix to ensure that you will have a charge going into the last point.
Yeah, I mean, at least in North American Highlander, you just don't see the medics do a lot of goofing around in gimmicks when it comes to switching up weapons and doing that different stuff. I mean, that's more something you see in the EU. I've done a lot of EU casting, and I see a lot of Highlander go, oh, well, they went, Uber, well, then we're going to go crits, and they're going to go quick fix, and just kind of this back and forth little chess game that ultimately doesn't really do anything. Like, I think that the style of just like Uber, it's so good. Crits can be effective. It can be surprising, but it at least what I've found, and Brick, I don't know, you can confirm or deny this, but I feel like crits is a hard thing to sustain. Like, unless you are just outclassing the enemy, if you're on an even level with the opponent, it's kind of hard to sustain multiple Kritzkriegs in good ways, because it's so easy to counter it by kiting and kind of keeping track of where they are and what they're doing. Or all it takes is like one bad situation, then your medic can't get forced, your medic just dies. It's not that Kritzkrieg is wrong, but I don't know, I just find that top teams, when they play each other, don't tend to run it as much. But it as Brick was alluding to, it might have also just been a little bit of Asheville's thing. But also, I just want to take this out real quick, because I was talking a little bit ahead of time about Banny and maybe struggling a little bit with the sniper. And Yosh had 11 frags of his 54 on Banny alone. So is that 20%, if I'm doing that correctly in my head, of just purely taking down Banny?
Yeah, it's 1/5. Yep.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And then the second class that had the most picks on Banny was Feint. So he died 16 times to the pick classes. The classes he's just not typically used to playing against, and 15 out of 26, that's over half. Over half his deaths came to those two classes.
Yeah, he's definitely a big target for the snipers. Taking out that demo man really stifles your ability to get offense rolling. Their heals as well, we saw a little bit more distribution to Corsa and Corsa and Jordan, and then it seems like over on K&D it was a little bit more just Giraffe, even more solid healing of Giraffe. He got like 2,000 more heals than Banny did, so they were able to just kind of utilize Giraffe, get him in position to get that damage out, and play a really solid King of the Hill, holding territory, doing what they needed to do. But now we're going to be on a 5CP, which a DK pick for this map, which is also interesting because Banny might not be super familiar with it. How much of this map has really a lot of intricacies about the map, or how much of it is just going to be a straightforward 5CP battle, and having good instincts is what's going to make the most difference here?
Well, I guess I would jump in here and say that I don't think this is a straightforward 5CP map, and it kind of struggles with that. I'm also really surprised that DK picked this, given that they just didn't look very good on it the other day. I don't know if Banny's going to change it up, but the biggest thing to me is that it's just so easy to find flanking routes in this map compared to other 5CP maps, and that's why we saw Slemnish just go absolutely ham in the last game. I don't know, Brick, how you feel about it, but that's at least kind of how I see it.
From what I saw of DK last night, on Monday, this is going to be a little different of a DK. You do once again now have Corsa back on Soldier, and you have Banny back on Demo. And the last time that this roster played against K&D, they hardly lost. And that was a roster of DK without Carl on Heavy, which is huge. It is absolutely huge when DK plays without Carl. It is exactly like DK without Banny. It's a completely different team. And then you also add Boar on Sniper, And at the time, I believe they had H&G on spy, and no knock on H&G. He is a incredible spy, and he does like to change out his loadouts to keep people on their toes. But I feel like Vipa is just more consistent and has just been more dominant throughout the season. So I feel like this is going to be the best roster of DK to have played on this map. And since they lost 4-3, which was a very close 4-3. If you remember, the only reason I feel like DK lost this map was because Skis had lost internet connection and Feint had backstabbed them when they were pushing in with Uber ad into the last point, and K&D was able to push right back in and cap the last point after DK's whiff on that. So it's gonna be interesting, but on the same, you flip the table. This is a K&D with a lot better momentum and just a more gelled together K&D team with Kresnik back in the combo. You get rid of the very aggressive flank roaming heavy that Blues brought to the table, and then you also have Yosh, who's playing a lot more conservative with the combo and not just kind of running around looking for picks and kind of running the cozy camper. Sorry, I keep saying lazy camper because I just feel like it's such a lazy weapon. But he's back on the Razorback and he's playing with the combo and he's looking for picks that will help his combo more rather than just kind of doing his own thing, which was what he was most so doing in the regular season.
So now that I heard the countdown, looks like we're hearing the countdown again.
Yeah, it looked like
we're live.
I thought it was going live there for a second, and then Skis kill-binded, and it looks like we're actually going to go live now.
Excellent here. So on to Survive CP action. CP Vanguard. Vanny already showing off those fast rollout skills. You can pick that up in 6v6, but Giraffe going to take that top right side. Actually lock things off a little bit quicker. Board coming out with a snipe on Yosh. That's a great start for DK.
Yeah, that's going to really open it up as Corsa pushing across the point. We saw K&D be very passive in their mid-fights in the first game, and it's seeming to continue on to the second grand finals here as DK. I mean, look at this. They're just pushing across the point. K&D's not even contesting. Draft actually looks like he's going to get caught in here. Ultimately trades with Corsa. Kresnik going down as well. And so basically the core classes for the combo are going to go down. DK here are going to be able to capture the point and have that player advantage to continue forward.
Yeah, definitely a great mid-fight for him. I mean, what more could you ask for? They're going to push into a second here, and K&D has nothing they can do about it. They're going to have to back up, set up for last. Hope that Ender's Sentry can really defend things. At least they do have an Uber charge. They did just lose Slimnish and Feint.
I think what K&D was trying to do there was bait DK onto the point, and then they're going to send their explosive classes onto the point to try to get some picks. They couldn't get the picks, and those players died, and they kind of bit themselves in the foot there, and so now DK gets to push right back into him with both teams having Uber, and trying to defend this last can be definitely incredibly difficult.
Draft, Edney did go down there, and Draft is going to be able to get back up, but I think DK made a little bit of a misplay by not trying to push in. Ultimately, Ubers get forced off here from the K&D side. Actually, DK opted to push in. I guess they didn't want to drop Carl in that exchange, but I got to question a little bit as DK is going to be flooding up through this vent side, going to be running into Draft. He's going to be putting down some damage. Brandy's trying to work his side out of it, but they're going to get flanked here as Edney as well as Slimnish are going to come out. Feint's going to be right behind Jordan, but not able to secure his stab right there. And DK with a very awkward push, and they're going to have a very awkward retreat as well.
Yeah, I think if Skis just held onto that Uber, they would have been a lot better off. Dropping a heavy when pushing it to last is not that big of a deal.
It was one of those situations where they were just trying to get the Uber pressured out. They got the Uber pressured out, and then they just panicked as they were backing out. I was like, you could have, exactly like you said, just let him drop down, or it could have been a little bit further back. It wasn't really cleanly executed, and so now we're going to have to wait for things to cycle again. And then we'll see what sort of other opportunity they can create here. The defense has kind of switched around here with now Nursey getting into this upper room here instead of being on the ground. And Kresnik getting stabbed down.
Yeah, nice job there by Vipa. We'll see if that's going to open anything up. Probably not too much. I mean, the heavy pick isn't the biggest thing in the world, but with both teams holding on to Uber, Banny, actually, they look like they don't want to do way too long with this, as Banny's trying to get some spam down onto Draft, but not able to find too much damage, as they're trying to see if they can force the enemy medic off or try to drop a key player, but I mean, then again, the last time that they dropped a key player didn't work out, but look at Spamfest. He's actually on the Eureka effect, building a level 2 sentry gun, which I think is a pretty interesting choice. We'll see if, I don't know, Burke, have you seen them using a level 2 sentry gun at all, or anything for their pushes?
I don't think I've seen Spamfest run level 3s. I've seen Ender run a lot of level 3s, but it looks like here Spamfest just doesn't want Candy to be able to push right back into him. If you remember on Monday night, there were times where I thought I saw Feint going in for a play, but there were times where Skis is holding where he is now, and Candy was able to wrap him from the opposite side and get some good drops on him. So it looks like Spamfest just wants to make sure there's a level 3 that they have to push right into, kind of like the payload sort of effect.
Yeah, and actually look at DK. They just bullied their way into this upper room. Great job as they finally were able to do that. Banny looking through the window, seeing where he wants to execute this push. Actually spamming down the gun. That's going to open it up here. We should see probably an Uber exchange not too long from now with no level 3 to be able to defend this, right? But they got to be careful. They might get wrapped. Carl taking some damage on the back stairs is Feint. He's going to be coming in. Here comes the Uber charge. Actually, Boar gets dropped there, and Uber is still being held down to. Finally does get popped off to the DK side. Course is going to be pushing in Banny, putting down some decent stickies. Down goes Nursey. Great pipe coming out of Banny there as he's going to put another one onto Ender, but nobody's coming in. Finally, Ender as well as the Heavy coming in. Times one onto the point, but the Pyro trying to be able to do it, but Cassie comes in. Kresnik, he's going to drop down, but Carl's able to get to the point because the Heavy is just too slow. Great job out of DK there in that final push.
Yeah, really huge play from Carl. I mean, he was just up top there forever, hammering down with bullets, and DK committing everybody as well. That's how you have to do it. Highlander, it takes 9 people to capture the point, and sometimes you need to throw all 9 bodies until that last body can get that capture for your team. And DK, we'll see if they can just roll another round. They were just right from the beginning. It's all going to come down to this mid-fight, though. Good start for Corso.
Yeah, Corso, nice 2K right there. He's ultimately going to be traded out with Etney, but we'll see what they can do. Feint takes down Boar, but both mechs are being kept alive. Skis with actually a little bit of an Uber advantage, but DK just seems to be a little bit less passive on this mid-fight. I'm not sure exactly what kind of caused that. Is they even have numbers, but they're still so far back. Finally, Banny's going to be pushing back in here, getting some damage onto the combo classes, and DK finally are going to take the point that is rightfully theirs. And actually, Nursey's about 20% behind, but it's not going to matter.
Yeah, that was a good play, though, for sure. DK, I mean, Corsa going aggro in the beginning, Carl going down a little bit early, and then I think Vipa. But then they realized they backed up, they kind of reformed, and they're like, oh, we're super strong, let's get out there. They take the point, and now they're going to look to establish territory as they set up for a push in a 2.
See what they can do is DK is actually playing this really slowly right now. They're not even trying to take that middle room. We'll see what they want to do with this. Is they did lose a couple of players. I guess, you know, they did lose Boar, so maybe they're a little bit worried. Yosh does have a hard sight line into that room as Feint trying to make a play onto Skis again, but his team's just a little bit more wise as Nursey went down to about 50 HP. And actually, the Uber charge, yeah, it was a force.
Yeah, Skis now Ubering in response. Corsa out here. A lot of Ubers going just the way of Corsa and Banny, but it's working out really well for him. Corsa getting floated up, down to 5 health, taken out. Spamfest also almost burning to death. He's going to take the health pack in that lobby. And DK looking to follow that up, push out. In good position here. They got the Pyro Jordan on point.
But Yosh taking down Skis as they are pushing out of that entryway, so Nursey's going to have a little bit of that Uber advantage going in their favor, but nice job out of DK at least to take the second point, but they probably won't sustain this with 8 players alive on the K&D side, as well as having that Uber advantage. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just push out right away.
Yeah, and Banny taking out Feint, the spy, that kind of pushed him backwards as he got the health pack, and as you are saying, Nursey getting out on the point. Excuse me, rollers and damage coming out. Nursey staying alive. Big bomb in, though, from Corsa. The second rocket. Going to get the kill. Nicely done. They couldn't see the second point, but they get the kill on Nursey.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised DK to go in right away here. They are looking like they want to do just that. They're going to go in that far right-hand door as they have 5 players just flooding through. Feint's going to be behind the medic, and nobody has spotted him yet, it looks like. And with no medic here, I'm surprised that K&D's even trying to sustain a holdout here. Nursey does come back up and is going to get to that forward ground, so I guess they're going to have a chance. And oh no, but Skis goes down again. Yosh has his number today, and that's 2 in a row.
Yeah, Yosh all over the place with these headshots. Almost going for Banny there, but cannot get that mid-air headshot.
Yeah, this is looking good for K&D right now. Only 4 players alive here on the DK side, and K&D just wants to roll through. Vipa is behind the enemy combo, but with Kresnik and Katsy still alive, I can't imagine that he's going to be able to do it, as Katsy and Kresnik are 2 of the best spy checkers, but nobody's looking right now. Nursey! Oh, Vipa! He whiffs the stab! He was so close. Nursey goes down. No! What? He got the hit! How did he hit that? Vipa with a beautiful body shot from the Ambassador as he's being pushed up into the air, and DK is going to push off of that.
Yeah, pretty glorious stuff there. And a big boost to DK as they were getting challenged for sure with some K&D momentum.
Yeah, and they want to get aggressive off this. They are already going through. Kresnik did go down. Nursey is back up. But I don't know if they're going to be even trying to hold his second point. Maybe just passively. Yosh trying to see if he can get a miracle shot onto Skis again. But I think Skis is going to hope that third time is not a charm. As Draft, the furthest one forward to his team, has to be careful. Boar with a nice headshot onto him. And it's no Demoman as well for this defensive side. But Katsi and Etni as well as Slemnish are all flanking right now. And they're trying to make a play, but actually Feint with a beautiful headshot onto Jordan. They have to be careful here. Skis might be in a little bit of a bad spot.
Yeah, they're trying to figure it out. A lot of frags going down. DK only having 4 players up. They do control the middle point, though. They're actually pressuring forward, just based off of K&D's positioning, where they've been able to get themselves to.
Yeah, and I
Kresnik maybe want to challenge, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Nursey also went down there from Boar, so yeah, that's going to give a nice Uber advantage. And DK currently is up 1-0 on this map, which they chose as well after losing it in the first Grand Finals. So we'll see what they can do here as Van gets a little bit overextended there on a 13-second respawn. I'm not sure. I think he was peeking and hoping to just kind of poke and get out alive, but Feint's also in a good spot, but here comes Uber charging onto the final point. Banny's going to be trying to force down the gun as Katsy's doing a great job of reflecting it. The gun is going to go down incredibly low. The Wrangler doing a great job, finally gets taken out as Slemnish is behind the point, but Giraffe with a huge 2K right down, taking down the combo classes. Down goes the medic. Jordan should get cleaned up here as well, but no, it's just Giraffe. What are you talking about? Spamfest with the gun and ×3. A team wipe coming out of DK as they control it 2-0, and this is looking like it's going to go to a third map here.
Yeah, definitely DK having a pretty strong hold on this. And as Banny knows, once you get into this Euro mode, 30 minutes, you get a 2-0 lead. It enables you to play a lot slower, a lot safer if things don't go your way. They're obviously going to be looking to extend their lead and maybe even just close this out real quick and get some momentum rolling into the next map. I mean, we've seen some quick dominant action from DK. If they get a strong mid-fight here, they could easily get second, and they've not had a problem pushing the last.
And K&D finally having a mid-fight go in their favor as they're getting about 3 frags, and DK is already going to be leaving out here. But let me bring in Brick on that last push that DK had. What worked out so well for them? Because it seemed like it was a pretty good back and forth, and all of a sudden just so many frags going in DK's favor.
It looked more so like K&D was kind of jumping out to the point, and there were some DK players that were just focusing on the players that were in spawn, and it looked like K&D was going to be able to defend it, since a lot of their backs were to the point, and they just weren't really paying attention. But for the most part, it was really just Giraffe kind of standing on the point, and once the rest of the K&D players went down, everybody else on DK just kind of looked at the point, shot him, and then just jumped right on it and capped it.
Well, this could be a big momentum changer if K&D can keep this rolling, get into last and get a capture here. They do lose Giraffe, unfortunately, to a snipe prime Boar. Vipa just showing the dead ringer going down. But plenty of time for K&D to work this, plenty of time for them to plan a comeback in this game. Oh, Skis goes down, stabbed by Feint.
Yeah, that's going to be a +2 in the favor into that column as Ubercharge is going to be popped off here from Nursey. We'll see how much space she'll ultimately get to it with her team. As course, it's going to come behind, do a lot of damage onto Kresnik, and K&D's a little bit stuck in this stairwell. Used her Ubercharge, but didn't really take too much ground. And the level 3 sentry gun's still alive, and the defense from the DK doesn't look too bad right now, but Giraffe is sustaining this push, doing a lot of damage onto the gun as well as Kresnik. But Spamfest doing a great job healing up, finally does ultimately get taken out, but DK looks like they might have a chance to get people back up to be able to defend this.
Yeah, K&D, really unfortunate for them to have to use that Uber like they did in that upper room. Really just did not get anything out of that. In the end, they're able to get the sentry gun down, kind of keep that on lock for a little bit. But there's push has definitely been reset here. And they're just going to need to make sure that they get 1 round so they can have plenty of time for a second round here. Here comes the Uber charge again. Coming out early. Oh, they get Skis before he gets it. 97%. What a great play.
Corsa from behind takes down Nursey in response. Man. 4 players alive on the offensive side. Kresnik trying to hide for his life. Ultimately, he's going to be taken out from Banny. Only 3 players up, though, for DK. Giraffe gets traded off. Katsy's going to run in here, but doesn't see Carl. Yosh is going to stare down the sideline, and Slemnish is going to find the Carl hidden spot as well. Need to make sure you listen to those comms, and that's going to open it up for DK. It looks like they want to aggress onto the second point. Teleport is going to go down. And this is looking like a DK is going to have a successful hold on last and capture that second point.
Yeah, that, you know, definitely show the comparison of the capture that we saw earlier with Carl for getting that for DK and that push from KND. Just didn't have the same sort of synergy with players like piling in one after each other or really getting that pressure directly on the point. They almost had that capture, though, for sure. And again, there's still plenty of time left in this map, so they need 2 captures. But also 5 CP is pretty momentum-based, and you might be in trouble losing middle here.
And right now the momentum seems to be in DK's favor as they're just kind of continuing to push on. A lot of frags coming out in their favor of the draft. It's a nice kill there onto Jordan, the Pyro. But ×3 onto the point feint right behind the mech. Skis, does he get called out? Yes, just a little bit too much of a run-up time. And Skis is going to hold on to it as Nursey went down there from a body shot of Boars.
Oh, man.
DK.
That's a tough one to take.
And so, I mean, KND, they might want to hold this second when they're trying to hold it, but I don't know if they're going to do it. I mean, it's just the biggest thing is not to lose too many players with Skis having 100%. I mean, there's pretty much no way they can do this, yet KND already resigning themselves to a passive hold.
Yeah, Boar trying to work his way in, get some nice snipes to open things up. They are pretty far forward. Skis right on top of things with Banny. They want to follow through with this Uber charge, get Nursey, and they do. And then take this last point as well. It should be no problem as they're getting a lot of frags all over the place. A few players coming out of the respawn. They're actually getting stuck in there. Etney goes down. It's just going to be Ender up on the side, but so many points, bodies on the point. There we go, 3-0.
And there you go. This is 1 point away in the favor of DK, and they're going to take this second map. You know, I have to say, to be completely honest, I did not think that this was a good pick out of DK after seeing the way they played against KND. I was like, why would they pick this? It was such a close map. It didn't really seem like it was one-sided, but obviously DK saw something that I didn't, and they're executing it to perfection right now as they're currently up 3-0, 1 round away from taking the second map and putting this to the final map of Swiftwater.
Yeah, it's understandable when you have the best, one of the best 6s players in the game to pick him out and go 5 CP. KND loses Kresnik and Giraffe right out the gates. They do lose Banny to a ambassador headshot from Feint, who also managed to get Spam Fest. But I would still say that things seem to be going in DK's favor here.
And Etney's also hiding behind DK. He was actually crouch walking, like he was playing Overwatch or something. It was really odd. He grabs a med pack, but finally did get spotted, so he's not going to be able to make a play onto the medic. Both medics holding on to that 100% charge as Carl and as well as Boar are creating space for their team. I don't think KND realized that they were completely alone, but they were able to pick up 2 frags somehow, and this next point should go in the favor of DK as they continue their momentum, and just a great job of pushing, not even having to use Uber.
Yeah, I think they really want to make a statement here on this map and get that 4-0, get it early, and say, you know what, you guys might have flipped this into a last BO3, you guys might have played that last map very strong, but we're going to take this in fashion with a dominating 4-0 and get into payload mode. And we'll see if they can do it with this last push or if they're going to need a few more.
And Uber Charge get traded out from each side. It's looking like it's going to come out a little bit better for KND, but Banny up over the top, doing a lot of damage down on a draft, pushing him out into the wrong way. Slemnish, though, in the backside. Only 3 players left alive for DK, and what might have been... Oh, but Skis, he dropped down into the wrong way. Slemnish is wanting blood, but not able to secure the kill, and Skis barely gets away despite dropping down to the wrong area.
KND is going to push forward here. I mean, time-wise, anything could happen. So, oh no, Boar sniping down Nursey.
Yeah, then that's exactly what you don't want to have happen. I mean, it's an obvious statement, but I think Nursey thought that she was safe, but Boar is still holding a forward position, and DK is going to not give up this point despite losing Feint. Feint with a nice kill there onto Carl. And Netney tries to make a play, but not able to find Skis. And we'll see what they can do here, DK, as they hold a huge Uber advantage right now.
Yeah,
and Kresnik's actually hiding. Sorry, I thought Kresnik might have made a play, but he got easily caught out, and I think this is just so many players bleeding for KND.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're in a tough spot here. They're probably going to lose Catsy. Indeed, they do up top. The Uber charge comes out. Banny pushing forward. Nursey having to run away. And, oh, man, Giraffe cratering down. We got players on the last point. Yosh trying to snipe the world off it. It's not going to happen. 4-0. DK with a dominating second map. Tying things up 1-1. And taking us to payload Swiftwater.
You know what I said when we had the first map in the first round, when it went to double overtime with both teams, that I was thinking that is going to be a great matchup here tonight, and it shows to be just that, as a 4-0 in the favor of DK. Maybe not as close as you would have liked to see in a 5CP, but both teams taking one map, and now we're going to be moving on to Swiftwater, which, for anybody who's not familiar, traditionally the rules for UGC is that payload maps only get to be played for one half, but these teams have a gentleman's agreement that any stopwatch format would be played out in full. So we will be seeing a full map of Swiftwater now on top of this, as they're going to be switching the map up here, and we can take it out to Brick. What did you see different between these two teams, or with DK at least, that they played so much better than compared to Monday?
Corsa, and did I say Corsa? I think having a much bigger flank presence helped them so much better. If you remember the logs on Monday, Aegis had some really good plays on when defending last, but outside of that, Aegis struggled immensely on the 5CP map of Vanguard. Corsa did so much better, and it allowed Vand to do so much more. And if you remember, Slimnish just absolutely obliterated on that map. I mean, Mustard said it best. There's one map you don't want Slimnish playing, and it's a map that allows Slimnish to run around. Corsa was able to make a lot of bombs and plays, which allowed Van to just kind of run around a lot more. And if you can allow your scout to run around a lot more, it's going to shut down the opposing scout and not allow him to do the same thing. I think that was the biggest difference. Having Corsa be able to play Soldier and then having Banny back on demo did a lot. But I think Corsa more so in Soldier was just a much bigger push for that team. And then, of course, obviously having Boar and Vipa on the team as well, as opposed to Timeless and HNG.
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I mean, that's just it. I mean, Corsa, that's one thing is that for anybody who's not familiar with what's been going on in the playoffs, Banny, I don't think has played with his team for the past, I believe, about 2 weeks. This is the first game that they've actually played with him. Corsa has been traditionally played on demo. He switched up from his usual soldier class throughout the season, and so it seems to be paying off for them today.
Yeah, definitely. They have taken it to our final map here. So, I mean, it's, something you could ask for. It would be nice to have a map in hand here, or not have to worry about it. Go to the second map, get in here. But here we are, and it's going to be payload. And now, again, have to ask the question, stylistically, does this favor the kids next door? Does this favor DK? DK seems to have, a lot of that flank, some of the sixes pressure, those sort of tempos. But KND definitely a lot of Highlander experience, as well as Yosh, who's playing on fire. What do you think, Brick?
I'm going to have to give the favor to KND. I've always hated playing Swiftwater against KND. I just feel like they take so much more pride in playing payload. I feel like playing against them on the payload map has always been a struggle, and you really just have to learn the map and pick it apart and figure out how a team plays and then play completely against that. And the more a team plays on a payload map, the easier it is to see how they play. And I think that's why in the past you've seen teams like DK and Boat be able to beat KND on maps like Upward, as there's been so much coverage on KND on that map, where there isn't so much on Swiftwater and Borneo, where it's a lot harder to kind of like get a feel or get a knowing of how KND is going to take the map and put their combo around on it. And I'm going to really expect a lot of aggressive defending holds, especially on that fourth point, where a lot of teams can either really struggle pushing into or just completely roll into, especially with the long twists and churns of pushing that cart and pushing the cart up a hill. There's a big rock with a fence, not the usual spot where a team will hold, but like kind of outside that house area, where I'm really going to be looking to see if KND holds there with the level 3 sentry gun from Ender. If a team gets set up there, it can be really difficult to push right into that.
Now, Sigafu, what point do you think will make the most difference in the match tonight, in terms of slowing teams down or one team having a better grasp of than the other?
Yeah, I mean, with Swiftwater, I think it comes down to, I'm going to cheat here if I can. I'm going to say there's two different points that can ultimately make or break teams. And I think it comes down to the second point and the fourth point. I mean, the first point obviously is kind of a given. The third point can be good if you get a good hold on it, but it's a bit unusual. And the last point can also be good if you get a good hold on it, but it's a harder one, and it's kind of easy to sneak that capture time. But the second point, if you can control the one-way area, which is the door in the top right, which you can only go through on offense, and if you can shut that down, because that's where the sniper can get in, and he can make a lot of picks, has a lot of area. Teams tend to play their combos up there. I mean, I guess I can ask Rick about that to make sure that I'm still correct in my meta. But I would say the second point, just because you can get a really good hold going on, and then the fourth point can also be very good if you can control the area. And you can also control the sniper, because the fourth point is like all about the sniper. There's such long sight lines on that map. As long as you make sure that you keep your sniper up and the other sniper down to the best of your ability, you can get a really good hold on there. But the kind of crazy thing about Swiftwater, which is I guess the true thing about any payload map, is that if you just start to get rolled and you don't transition from the next point to the next, you can just lose any point despite how good of a hold it is, just because you're not transitioning from each point correctly.
And on Swiftwater, it's definitely easy to not position well, as a lot of newer players will definitely testify that the spawn room for Swiftwater can be very confusing. It's very easy to roll out to the second point when you really wanted to roll to the third point, or roll out to the third point when you meant to roll out to the fourth point. And as Sigafu said, the second point, that is the point that you really want to hold, because if you can get a really good hold on that, then you're pretty much going to be ensuring yourself that you're going to get a good hold on fourth. But the issue that a lot of teams will have is that they over defend the second point, and they don't get any defense on the third point. And that third point can be a really good choke to kind of hold teams into, but it's also, once again, a point that you really don't want to hold that long, as once the opposing team really gets that cart close enough, it's really easy for a team to just keep sacking in over and over again to cap that cart. And if you get caught in on the third point, you're dead, because that's where the opposing team now spawns. And if you die defending that third point, you're not defending the fourth point at all, and that fourth point is the point that you want to defend.
Yeah, that definitely makes a huge difference. I mean, stopwatch every single second makes a huge difference. Even more so than with Koth maps, where obviously it's very time-based, but Koth, it kind of just the seconds don't matter too much as you flip the point. You never know in stopwatch. It could literally go down to that 1.5 second where you had ×2 on the cart instead of ×3. So moving the cart, super clutch. We'll have to see if these teams vary much between their strategies to push it, to keep it rolling fast, and to break down the other team when they hit some obstacles.
So one thing, actually, I want to do you mind if I ask the question here? I'm curious about predictions. We haven't done any yet so far. I have asked Twitch chat, but I'm curious as we're getting ready here. Eckstein, who do you think is going to be taking Swiftwater here tonight and ultimately taking the championship of UGC Season 19?
DK definitely feel a little bit more dangerous right now. I'm leaning their way. If Yosh can really turn it on here and then get everything else together, then K&D will take it. It is a little bit of Giraffe versus Banny here, because each of those demos, I think, has led their team to victory in the respective maps so far.
Brick, my boy?
I think Nursey is going to be able to protect herself better than Skis will, and so I'm going to give the advantage to K&D. Having your medic and keeping your medic alive is so much more important than pretty much anything else in payload. So I'm going to go with the Uber advantage, or not the Uber advantage, but the medic advantage, and I definitely heavily will side with Nursey against Skis.
Yeah, and with 15 seconds left here, I asked Twitch chat, and you guys are thinking 57% DK, 43% K&D. I myself am a K&D man in the situation. I think they just play really well on these maps. Corsa, I feel like I don't know if he's going to play passive enough at Soldier, but the gates are opened up. We'll see who's right or wrong as K&D is coming out here. Etney on the direct hit early on. But this first point tends to be pretty much a given nowadays. Not really any real holds, just a kind of partial hold on the cave side.
Yeah, of course, in the house. We'll see if he'll be able to get out here. Feint does get picked out. He'll be back in 5 seconds, though, so no problem there.
Yeah, just, I mean, this is just kind of doing, but actually Corsa very aggressive, as well as with Van. They want to make a play onto the cart, as this looks like Banny was actually able to get a sticky trap off there. Interestingly enough, Vipa does get a frag, but I mean, these frags, look at It just crashed. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, as I'm sure you were in the midst of saying, these frags or these deaths that they had given up do put them in a bit of a risky situation here, because Van's going to be a while before he can get back involved with things. Corsa being taken down, and they have abandoned the tunnel hold as well in the second point here, judging that that's not going to be happening. Banny trying to control that upper area, as you mentioned, very important to the push here, but it looks like KND is starting to get through here all right. Not having to use an Uber on Giraffe, keeping him fairly healthy here.
Yeah, Giraffe did a really good job there of keeping himself alive and not over-aggressing when he knew that his team didn't really want to Uber there. And the Uber does come in from K&D as both teams are aggressing into each other. And no Uber yet from DK, but as I said, that they do Uber on Carl, and both Ubers are traded, and no players going down from either combo.
Yeah, it looks like it might still work for getting this door open. Ski's actually in trouble. Overwhelming. Oh my god. Sorry,
that was
overextending
huge by
a little
DK.
bit.
Yeah. What happened there was that K&D kind of went in because it looked like Skis had almost abandoned. From Giraffe's point of view, he couldn't see Skis, so he just felt like Skis left and that the rest of the DK team was going to leave. So K&D runs in through the doorway, and Banny walks around the corner and lays out a couple of pipes and lands directly on the K&D combo. And Nursey was right in the middle of all of that, and she ends up dying to Banny.
And they've gotten the cart fairly far forward, so it looks like Giraffe going to consider just pushing in through that right-hand side. We'll see if they can get out and take care of business here. But the gun in healthy condition. Giraffe kind of alone on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
and gets sniped down.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking good for them. Giraffe does go down. It's going to slow down their push a little bit, but just such a great hold. I mean, we talked about in the pregame about just getting your hold set up and how hard it can be pushed into. And on the second point, I mean, once you get this hold on your point, if you cannot work your way through in one way, it can really work against you. It's just, I mean, look at KD, they just keep bleeding players, and that's going to slow down their push. I mean, I was watching them in pregame, and they put up a 6-minute time, which was very respectable, especially on a map like Swiftwater. But right now, they're just being stunted, and they can't seem to figure out how they want to push through this. As I always like Spamfest as well. I don't know if K&D's realized, but he's also switched his gun placement, which is always kind of a tricky little thing that an engineer can do to kind of throw off the enemy team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a solid spot right now. And they just have this on lockdown. Boar getting kills, and Yosh just now starting to get back into place. See if he can get something to open things up here. But if he gets sniped from Boar again, it's definitely going to be tough for them to get established here.
And I mean, look at K&D right now. How long have they had Uber charge? I mean, finally it's going to get popped off. It's going to be trying to focus down the sentry gun. Only Demo Man actually in on the Uber charge. Actually, Spamfest dancing for his life. He's going to drop down here. He dies. He dies to falling off of the bridge. The gun's going to go down as well. And aggression coming out from each angle. I don't think that was going to be a good Uber charge, but it's ultimately going to work at least a little bit in their favor, taking down the engineer. But the thing is that Banny, as well as Skis, is holding on to this 100%. Giraffe goes down, and I got to imagine that DK is going to be able to defend this.
Yeah, definitely. It is just a matter of when they use that Uber charge to come back down. But they haven't had to yet. Cart has stopped. Pressure is over for now. The sentry gun trying to be rebuilt. It has been switched over to a minigun.
Feint's on the cart.
A sapper on it and move that cart as much as possible. Taken out by Banny finally.
And Brick, if you were in this situation, if you're playing for K&D, I mean, what would you be doing push-wise to try to break through this DK defense?
I think the first thing that you really need to do is you need to build that Uber. You need to get Nursey Uber. And then once you have that Uber, you need to make a play to distract the cart. And as I said, the entire K&D combo pushes in, and they just get wiped out by Banny. But what I would have done there is I would have sent them right through the tunnel and then have the rest of my players follow in behind. And I just would have tried to harass everybody that's up in that little room, especially now that Spamfest is on mini sentries and not on level 1 guns. And then you just have like your scout and your pyro and your spy push the cart while the rest of your team's Ubered, kind of trying to throw the focus onto them or cleaning up all the players that aren't Ubered on the red team.
Spamfest feeling confident enough in things. He's back to level 2s. And has that getting set up right now. We'll be upgrading it to level 3 in not long, I'm sure.
Well, and the thing there that happened in that push out of K&D, and the most strange part about it is they committed Nursey. I felt like they got exactly what they got the Skis to be forced off in that situation, but then Nursey was committed, ultimately dying, and that would have gave Nursey huge Uber advantage in that situation. I just kind of felt a little bit strange. I don't know what they were exactly thinking in that moment. Maybe Nursey accidentally came through the gate, whatever really happened there, but Skis is going to have this uber advantage. The gun did go down, and so that's going to slow down this defense maybe a little bit as Spamfest is rotating the gun into that window. But Feint needs to touch this card. I think he's going to do that right now. He's going to get cleaned up there. Nice job by Banny, currently on a 10K with the stickies around the cart.
Yeah, things are getting pretty well locked down by Spamfest. This is tough for K&D. They're going to be coming in here with the Uber charge. Trying to come through tunnels here with this. We're going to get spotted out pretty early. And spammed to get slowed down as well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the big thing that happened there is they showed themselves. I mean, I feel like you want to just pop it and just run straight through. But again, even if they do pop in that situation, Skis can just hide in this room. I mean, you really have to contest them, to me, in the one-way area to be able to try to get at least a trade of forces.
And it took them so long to maybe get out there. And then Giraffe ends up getting sniped down there. Nursey in trouble, too. Might have to pop here just to, like, not drop to the Spy Ambassador. Gets a sandwich, though, I believe. So now they're going to push out here through tunnel, or try to. It's still going to have the same problems.
And
they're actually really indecisive about it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Banny is doing a great job here. I just want to note it, is that it's a hidden thing. He's only sticking the cart. It's purely to stop Feint from being able to capture that for free. Here comes Ubercharge. Actually going to be focusing down the gun. Spamfest, even a lot of it ultimately does go down. The gun should get traded as well. Ski's still holding on to that 100% as Ender is dropping out of the window there. It's going to get cleaned up as well, as KD is still not able to get any space on the second point. KD just keeps Ubering in to be able to take down the gun, but they don't follow it up with anything. But Etney, he wants to jump in. He goes onto the card. Looks like they're just going to try to spam that down, but still Ski's holding onto the 100%.
Yeah, Kresnik got backstabbed there, which actually was a really crucial pick because Heavy just adds so much damage around. They're not really able to get any sort of follow-up whatsoever. Ender does get a kill on Skis, sneaking him behind. And the Scout's trying to get in as well to push the cart, maybe get the capture, but taken out. Vipa battling the cart here.
Can I just like have a moment for an engineer dropping the medic of all things? +2 to Chad as Feint getting a lot of capture time on that card, at least getting it a little bit closer forward. I mean, it's in that spot. Bandy's not doing, is currently down right now, who's the one who's usually contesting, but this one-way area is being taken over as Etney as well as Ender are leading the charge. Ender's going to be running onto the card. Band gets him cleaned up, but DK is finally losing enough players that they're going to be able to do this. But Corsa going down to the medic. Nursey is trying to dance for her life, but Corsa not able to do it as Nursey did get forced off there.
Yeah, Nursey at least surviving. Gonna be able to distribute the heals. The team hopefully be able to keep this up. Oh, and there goes Skis. Actually, Etney, big kill there to finish that off. And hopefully they can just roll through this third point, make up for some lost time. They definitely did lose some time on that second point.
I'm loving Ender's play right now. He's playing so aggressive with this team, trying to create space with them. I mean, this is right now, DK, I don't even think they should be holding third point, in my opinion. I guess they did at least pick up a couple frags. Banny's already back to the fourth point. He's actually coming back here. But I'd be doing a more of a passive hold on this thing. Etney, beautiful shot on the Banny.
Yeah, that's going to be trouble if he can't be involved in their defense on the fourth point. Right now, they're still having to battle Carl, though, and others. Carl takes a couple shots. And Yosh finishing him off. Yosh, great perspective here. Has to battle against Boar.
Yeah, and Nursey went down as well to Carl. So yeah, this is kind of back and forth right now.
Yeah, Edney coming in to help out with Boar, and Yosh still just reigning supreme up here from this angle. And they're going to get the capture here.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Brick was talking about transitions and getting from this next point. Look, at Giraffe is already going to start sticking them out. That because they tried to hold that third point when it wasn't really in a situation that's optimal for them, now they're going to be losing a lot of ground. Giraffe going behind. I think he probably should have kept high ground. Edney coming over the top. He wants to get some frags, but he's not finding any key classes. Kresnik gets taken out as well, and his aggression might go off against him as Nursey having to run for her life. The Scout was trying to go in, but it was easily cleaned up. The cart is being pushed up here, but I think K&D was just maybe a little bit too aggressive in that. The Giraffe just needed to play a little bit more safe to keep himself alive, to be more of a nuisance, as Skis went down in that whole exchange from Feint.
Yeah, and Boar getting a kill on Yosh as well, so Yosh no longer throwing out support. Plenty of players here, though, for K&D. They started getting some momentum and pushing forward here. Feint getting in behind as well. See if he can get a stab here. He does on Skis. Nicely done.
He is just on fire right now. That is back-to-back picks onto the medic. But here comes Ben. He wants to return in kind. He has to be careful because if he doesn't get this pick, he's going to be on a long respawn right now. As Ben's coming in to clean up, down goes Nursey. Great job out of DK there chasing it, and they didn't even lose that many players. Only 4 players alive for the K&D side as Ender's trying to capture this cart. It's in a pretty good spot right now, but I was really surprised about how well DK was able to suicide wave there, but not lose any players in the process.
Yeah, and K&D just having to get together to get this offense rolling. Kresnik trying to walk out here, but a really good positioning by DK here. They're pretty far forward. Edney goes down there to a nice Tyrone shot as he lands.
And level 3 Sentry Gun, incredibly aggressive. That's denying any players from coming up here. Kresnik, he's going to try to peek around the corner to take it out, but he gets just a backstab there by Vipa, who is just has his number right now. And this card is starting to roll backwards as Yosh is trying to find an angle, and he does find one onto Ban. He's going to continue to peek this, takes down the Engineer as well, and this is an opening here for K&D.
Yeah, definitely. There are a few players down, though, starting to get out here. They've lost Edney now. There goes Giraffe as well. So Corsa jumping over the top, trying to push them back. Cart slipping backwards, just Ender on the point, but he gets gunned down by Vipa. And nobody else from K&D really is going to be able to get forward to have an impact.
You know, I should it's a shame you can't put footnotes when you're casting.
You're
Of
right.
course, because what I meant is they had the uphand if they actually destroyed the gun, which nobody actually tried to focus it down. Giraffe is going to jump here in front of his Uber. Is actually going to get dropped here. Katsy is going to try to take some forward ground as well, but that Uber charge is not really going to get too much. But I guess they did get enough frags to feel comfortable to take this aggressive ground. The cart does get captured while that's happening, so nice job there by K&D. Though Nursey, gets taken out. Boar with the beautiful headshot onto her.
Yeah, it's a tough loss there, but they are still pushing the cart forward swiftly. Skis getting that 90% Uber charge. That's going to help out a lot on the defense. Skis just holding that upper area with Banny, so we'll be able to squeeze plenty of more clock out of this.
And also having that 100%, this is looking pretty good for DK. They did lose their Engineer as well as their Heavier, who are the people who sit directly above the cart. So you can see Ender here is getting a lot of capture time. And now this is a point where sometimes Uber Charge doesn't matter, because if you just suicide enough players on the cart consistently enough, look at Ender. I mean, he's continuing to put this up. Nobody's dropping down on the cart. I mean, a few more kind of drop downs there as Ender's gun picks up a frag onto Corsa. You're going to capture this without even having to fight any real fights.
Yeah, that was good push by Ender, just really creeping it forward. And exactly as you say, now that when they get a real push in there, be that much closer to actually completion. Might actually try to spy cap it.
Yeah,
Oh
look
my
at
god,
Feint
he's
right
going
now.
for it. He's going for it. He's going to get
Nobody's looking.
Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a 7-person alive back cap, just for anybody who's counting.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
That was a really good back cap. I don't think they minded too much, because they're going to feel pretty good in that 13-minute defense they posted up. And plenty of time to work their offense here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great time. I mean, Brick, my man, what would you kind of see in that defense out of DK that seemed to work so well?
It was the entirety of the second. That's where the majority of that time came from. 6 minutes of that 13 minutes came from defending that 1 point. DK just got themselves in a good hold of just sitting up there. K&D wasn't able to really get good pressure. The 2 times that they did get good pressure on DK up there, Nursey died in both exchanges. I think the second time that Nursey died was just more so of K&D not really respecting DK. I don't think they really had respect for Skis, and they just they felt like they could just run in there and do what they want to do and not have to worry about it. That maybe they thought they could get the drop in on Skis, and like they wouldn't expect it, but you know they didn't get that. Did they get the force on Skis in that when that push? I know they got the Nursey pick, but
I believe it was Ender who kind of started out getting that Uber drop out of Skis that kind of opened up that second point.
yeah, but that came much later after that second push upstairs where Nursey ended up dying as well as the rest of K&D.
And beautiful job there out of DK, getting a sap at the same time, taking down the gun. They didn't get any frags for it, but was really nice coordination out of Vipa as well as Corsa and Banny. As his first point, the free point, is being so like K&D's not giving this up. They're actually pushing out a little bit. This is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, getting the 4-minute defense here would be the easiest way to win this round. But it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, I was trying to figure it out. It was just, all of a sudden I saw 7 players running out of the tunnel, and I just was trying to figure out, like, what are they going to do? Where are they going to defend this? And then they kind of all just, like, slowly back up. A couple of them get picked off there, but this cart is going to drop back. There's a sticky trap inside of the tunnel area, but I don't think it's going to get anybody. The level 2 sentry gun's going in the upper area, but we'll see if K&D can have any better of a second defense, or if they can do a second defense, because they cannot push it on offense.
Feint is watching this trap. Oh, no, he tried to call it at the right time to get this medic, but was not in the right position. He's going to get spotted out by the pyro as well.
Yeah, 100% Uber on each team, and currently Carl as well as Corsa is waiting outside of that one-way. Level 2 sentry gun. Banny is going to kind of suicide his life in there. Etney with a beautiful air shot. Kind of unnecessary, as Banny was going to die either way, but still, you got to add something to the frag video. As the cart's still being pushed up, the gun got moved back. I'm not sure what's going on there with Ender. I think maybe he's worried about it being taken out. It's going to get reset up to be able to at least get some damage onto the cart, but we'll see how DK want to push this, as they've been holding on to that Uber for quite a while.
Yeah, and DK is going to have some time here to work with. They're going to move Banny up top left. We'll see if they can properly take over this room, or if they're going to get stuck kind of like Skis did. There is a trap over the door. They spot it. It is popped, but everybody's saved with the Uber charge here. And Banny's going to get stuck out here. He goes down. Everybody else is going to go out. Not much of a push.
I mean, but they kind of got what they wanted in that situation. It seems like they wanted to just do an Uber exchange, and then maybe they can re-push back in here and use their spawn advantage or something like that. But either way, I mean, you could just saw Skis did push in there, but as soon as he saw that they weren't going to win that fight, he just backed up. Though the cart is moving back right now, back into the tunnel, and you can't let that happen. You got to make sure you keep it forward. At least so that during an Uber push, you can just kind of use the objective as another distraction.
Yeah, so Skis has rotated back into those tunnels. He's at the mouth of it right now with Boar, trying to keep Boar out there, get some action done. We do have a banner out here.
It's on Etney, who is holding on the defensive side. I think he's just trying to figure out when he wants to pop it, maybe to make a play onto the medic. I'm not exactly sure, but it would be a big play, as he could get a force off onto Skis. Looks like they might want to do it right now.
Yeah, the classic holding on to the call.
And not really
doesn't really get much out of it, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit of playing it too safe, but that's really not the worst decision in the world, because you can get caught on a 20-second respawn on the defensive side. So in the soldier class, it's so important to be able to spam down the cart for free. And now we're seeing DK on the exact same side of the second point, where they're now struggling to push it on offense. And I don't know, Brick, what are you seeing right now that DK seems to be struggling with on this point?
The same exact thing, where they can't get the pressure in on Nursey. Like right there, Corsa had the pressure in on Nursey and was just focusing down Giraffe rather than Nursey, but it doesn't really matter. The Uber does come off, so now Skis does have that Uber advantage. So DK could decide to either push through the tunnel and try to force their entire team through there and get the time on the cart, or push directly into the K&D combo, which does not have Uber to fall onto.
Yeah, I think they're going to go directly into the K&D combo. You can see about 6 classes here outside the one-way. Such a tiny area, and Kresnik goes down right away. Cassie should be traded out as well, as the frags are going to continue to rain out in DK's favors. They want blood. They want this second point. Nursey already out to the third point. Giraffe missing that arrow to try to keep herself alive. As Feint coming in from behind. Down goes Skis, but it's not going to matter, as K&D is not going to be able to defend. It's actually Ender still has his level 3 sentry gun up. Jordan is trying to spam in here with it, but here comes in Banny. He should be able to finally take it out with some of those stickies. The card is so far back, though, and Nursey has 85%. They might be able to defend this, and they're already climbing back into the one-way, which Banny's going to have to back out of.
If you remember what I said earlier, when you use the Uber into the defending team, your main thing is using it as a distraction to push the cart. Not a single person on the DK side pushed the cart during that entire exchange.
Yeah, that was really good by K&D. Just getting that lockdown, keeping Ender's gun up, and not allowing any room to be gained by DK there.
And they're doing a really good job right now. And this is the thing, though, is 3 minutes and 16 seconds left on the clock for this point alone. So they don't even need
Oh my god, Feint.
What?
He got a double K on Banny and Carl. It's just going to really slow things down here, because now they're just going to have to wait again for those players to get back up, again for them to get back in position, again for them to get buffed up. And as you were saying, the clock is ticking.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference between DK and K&D in this point is both teams struggled with it, but K&D, Feint, all he did was literally suicide on the cart to keep it 10 feet away. DK let this cart back up all the way to the tunnel. It's continuing to back up here, and they just can't do anything about it, but finally the gun goes down. That's a big misplay there coming out of Ender, because no gun is going to allow for a free push, but Banny does go down, so that's going to at least slow it down as Ender rebuilding his gun on the opposite side.
And we do have the Conqueror. That's going to help Edney. Oh my god, he trades with Corsa, actually.
And look at the Fist of Steel being healed onto the cart. Ultimately, the Uber is going to get popped off from each team, but the frags might just come out here in the favor of Nursey, dropping down onto this cart, actually going back to the third point again, but Giraffe raining down the damage with a level 2 sentry gun that's not being focused down. Carl's trying to get the capture time, but Skis has to be careful about not being caught in here. Banny coming in over the top. He's getting at least some frags. Actually, currently on a 3K. The gun is currently down. Vipa coming in onto the cart. Feint should be traded off here before he gets a backstab. How did he do that? Face stab style. But there you go. They at least come down with the point. Both medics alive in that exchange. And a scrappy fight, but DK at least comes out on top.
Yeah, definitely a good fight for K&D. DK will be feeling somewhat okay about their chances, but they are going to have to step on the accelerator here and make sure that this cart is rolling ahead at a pretty good pace.
Yeah, I mean, 6 minutes for the final 3 points isn't that much time, especially if that third point has any sort of defense on it. And right now we're seeing a defense onto the third point. They're going to try to hold this. We'll see if they can do it right now, as Nursey is going to have a little bit of an Uber advantage. And we'll see. It looks like DK wants to push through the IT side. They're kind of holding in this catwalk area. Boris sniping or trying to get a sight down onto Nursey, but she's hiding behind that panel so well that there's just no way that's going to happen.
And he takes out Banny, but that's an alright trade. Boar up top here, pretty low health.
And like the thing I like about DK now is they're at least sneaking that capture time onto the cart. So you can see Van, he jumped on there, so that cart's really far. So even just an Uber exchange, as Brick was saying, if you just Uber exchange and then get some people on the capture, they're going to take down this point even if you don't get frags, as long as you get that objective time.
Now they see the medic Skis as Slimnish gets a kill on Boar. Jumping around, might try to jump in through the window. No, he doesn't. Rotates another way. We do have Ubers on both sides. The blue Uber not so good. Nursey's lasts a little bit longer. They're able to clean up Carl. The blue Pyro Jordan coming back out here. Nursey's staying alive. Plenty of health. Does bump into the spy there. Is going to call that out. Vipa gets hit with the flames. Going to be spotted and finished up here momentarily. Well, actually lands on the cart, but the mini sentry by Ender does a good job wrapping that up. 3 minutes on this point, but 4:40 overall for this half.
And with the 13-minute time that DK currently, originally said, you thought like, okay, well, this is going to be an easy first round for them, but K&D is showing it to be anything but. That cart is currently 12 seconds away from starting to back up, and this is where it just literally suicide. I mean, especially like personally as an engineer, I kind of saw it as my job to get my teleporter up, take some forward ground, but suicide on that cart, because this cart would be in such a prime spot that you would instantly get it on any decent push. But now it's going to start rolling back, and Vipa, he's going for a stab instead of the cart. He's going to get taken out there, and this cart's going to start rolling backwards. At least we're going to see some aggression out of DK. They're actually going to take away the backside of this, and this actually might be pretty good for them, as they're going to go onto the cart. Feint is right onto the combo, but not able to get any stabs. Banny's going to get this capture, and now K&D's going to be stuck in here and have to use the Uber charge to get out.
Yeah, if they had gotten that Uber charge on the cart a second earlier, that would have been quite nice. Definitely could have got a longer delay, as well as probably a better exit. They're about to get Giraffe and Kresnik back up. Ender getting sniped down there is a big loss, because he had 3 minutes and 40 seconds to get the sentry gun up, but now will not be able to do so, at least right away.
And Feint, again, having the number of Skis who dropped him in that push there. And so that's going to take Skis from having 100% Uber advantage, now having to fight his way up the hill. He's losing a lot of players in the process right now, losing all of his combo classes, having to back up. And Nursey is going to be able to hold on to that Uber advantage, as Giraffe is going to be almost picked off there by Vipa. And we're actually seeing some aggression here out of DK, and they need to have it with 3 minutes left in the clock. They need all the aggression they can get.
Yeah, pretty good plays right now. Nursey getting real close to Ubercharge again, though, so staying back with Giraffe to make sure she does get it. Might pop it here to just put up a really strong fight. We'll have to see, though. She kind of does look like she wants to get out here with it. Just waiting, though.
Yeah, I think she's going to hold on to it, because yosh sniped down at Skis. And so she had no real... I mean, even if she did pop it, they're not going to take any ground in the situation, as Corsa getting way popped up into the air, and Skis, I mean... That's back-to-back deaths at the wrong time, and the card at least is being pushed up. That's something they can put in their hat, but I mean, it's not looking good right now for DK.
Yeah, they definitely have to get what they can for free here, just because the clock is so low. Feint getting stabbed down, though, that's a big loss for sure.
Yeah, and Van, though, look at this. He's on the cart right now. Nobody's even contesting him besides the engineers. The Uber does come off. It's going to be taking down Carl as well, but the big thing is Skis did get out in that situation. ×3 onto the cart. I'm loving this push off of it. It's actually forcing Giraffe as well as the Pyro to have to deal with this, which allowed Banny to push up the main area. He's going to be stuffing them down in that lower. And wow, despite being pushed into it in Uber, they are ultimately going to come out the other side here. Spamfest is going to just barely not get backstared by Feint, and an opportunity is alive with 1:50 on the clock. This is very doable as Etney falling from the sky, trying to fall into Skis, but not able to get enough damage onto him.
Skis with a full Uber charge ready to go as well. So they're going to try to position themselves quickly here. Nursey 30% away, so really not all that far. If DK takes too long, we'll certainly see it out of Nursey. They actually use it way early. We'll see if Corsa can get in far enough. Oh, they're going to have problems with the sentry gun when they get out here. It's just a mini right now. Oh, they're pushing the cart hard. Kresnik up top, peppering shots down, does get the scout. He's barely alive, though. He's going to have to stop and eat a sandwich. Nobody pushing it. Here comes Vippa. Will we see a spy cap going the other way? Kresnik jumps down. Gets the block. Feint is here as well. Feint going the other way. Oh, my God. The capture has been stopped for now. Corsa trying to push it. Can it get... Oh, no stopper it is. So there it is.
Every single body that possibly could be thrown on that card did, and some of them even paid the ult sacrifice, dropping into the into the pit there, as K&D just barely lose that. And DK, I mean, good thing they set such a great time because they did not look clean on that push.
Yeah, that was a good finale for DK. Certainly, it did come down to their defense. And that's what I was talking about, though. You know, every second counts. Every time that you can kind of delay things and keep things rolling, and or stop things from rolling, I should say. And towards the end there, we definitely had some issues with K&D and getting that kind of stiff arm up and out and stopping DK from advancing. In the end, they were able to just sneak it out just enough. What did you think of that set, Brick?
I thought it was very sloppy play offensively for both teams when pushing into the second point. I'd say more so from DK than K&D, as DK took a long time to really put time on the cart pushing into second when they were using their Ubers. And it was also pretty sloppy play from DK's defense when they were rotating out from the third point, as they continuously kept putting numbers onto the cart to defend it, when really they should have just gotten and put a better hold on the fourth point. DK only got about 4 minutes on the fourth point, and they only got about 28 seconds or 30 seconds or so for the very last point. So DK played pretty sloppy on the last 3 points, I would say. They could have had a much better hold, but in the end, it doesn't really matter that much. I think what ended up happening there was when K&D was backing up, it was a really early Uber in from DK, but it forced the Nursey to run out and into a sideline of Boar, and Boar was able to pick her off, and so there was no heals whatsoever from K&D. And you know, when you're kind of defending a point with no heals, it can be really difficult to do so.
Sigfu, your thoughts on that first set?
On the first set, I mean, it kind of just showed how these teams are struggling with pushing onto that second point. But as soon as that goes through, I mean, both of these teams were able to push it all the way through. I mean, the biggest thing I would love to see is teams being able to kind of, well, DK in particular, I feel like they struggled with transitioning from point to point on defense. The second point was great. They had such an incredibly long hold, but if you think about it, they had almost no hold for the rest of the game. K&D kind of the opposite. They had a chance for the fourth hold, but the where they went wrong with there is they didn't focus the objective on the defensive side. Only Ender was the one defending it. They allowed so much free capture time on it. DK actually stepping up to the plate on that and ultimately kind of sneaking away the cat, because K&D, they easily could have won that round, but it ultimately came down to that fourth point in their inability to defend the cart.
Well, we'll have to see how things go here. DK getting that first win. They're going to have to start things off here on offense once again. We'll see if they can get a better pace going here, particularly through that second point. In the end, though, did turn out to be their round. You know, it wasn't the fastest of offenses.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at the logs here. The thing that I kind of find really interesting, though, is that how close all of the frags are. Because I think the top frag is 29 and midway down is 21. Like, just everybody is just such a close matchup. And I think ultimately, I mean, both of these teams put up such a good defense, but it's going to come down to the little moments that are going to really dictate the pace of the game. And I wouldn't be surprised either, because when we saw these teams play on steel in the first week, they struggled initially with each other when it came to the attack defensive side of things, but as the game went on, the times went up faster and faster, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of a faster time out of each of these teams as they're kind of figuring out their opponent and how to push with it.
Yeah, Corsa, again, getting a lot of damage done. Second most damage in the game there in that first set, with Giraffe out damaging him a bit. Giraffe doing a good chunk more damage than Banny, a little 2,000 more total.
And Boar actually getting the better of that sniping duel this time around, where he's outsniped Yosh by 10-5.
That's definitely going to be an important one to keep an eye on, to see if Yosh will be able to help KND get this back with some mad snipes.
Like, it should also be stated of the difference between Nursey and Skis. Skis having dropped Uber twice. Just imagine how different the times would have looked had Skis not dropped 100% ad when they were defending the second point, which was really the whole reason why DK had lost their hold on the second point, as well as Skis dropping Uber pushing into the fourth point. So DK could have had a little faster of a time, less of a nail biter, and more of a headache for KND. I think this really is DK's grand final to lose. It's really just going to come down to, is Skis going to stay alive? Is he not going to drop Uber more than anything else?
Yeah, I mean, definitely they're in the driver's seat right now for DK. They got that one advantage up. Very nice of both teams to kind of say, you know what, we want to do a BO3 payload. We feel like one round just doesn't necessarily settle it. You have to play it out a couple times. You have to really see what team is the most dominant here. And, well, DK do have the advantage, but you just don't know. We might see some better organized offensive pushes from KND, as well as, you know, maybe a little bit more squeezed out of their sentry gun. That would have made a big difference in that last round. And it was very close. Came down to a 10-second difference. So we'll just have to see as we get these second set going here.
And interesting that we're taking a little bit of extra time on this. I mean, it's usually you don't see like such time taking out, and I'm kind of curious. I wish I could see which teams readied up and which ones kind of sitting there and talking to their team and trying to figure out what they need to do differently, because I feel like, you know, besides the second point, I mean, they have stuff they can work on, but to actually sit there and want to discuss it out. But I mean, you know, just to kind of put it into perspective, as we're getting readied up here, I mean, as Brick said, this is DK's game to lose, but it literally is, because they are currently one round away from becoming the grand champions, Banny no longer being a meme of Highlander, and will come down with the title, or KND will put this to a final sudden death match on this Swiftwater, because currently, as if we kind of haven't already hit it, Asheville went down in the favor of KND, which is a map they chose. Vanguard, which DK lost last on Monday, the last grand finals, they won 4-0 very convincingly, and now everything's on the line here for Swiftwater in this third map and the second best of 3.
Banny has won so many Sixes titles and land titles, but he has yet to win a Highlander season. So all I have to say to that is, lol, Sixes.
I think you just ruffled some like Team Fortress TV feathers. You're gonna see some like angry post by Sam inside of like the forums. It's gonna be great. The salt is real. No, it's this is just as good as I-58, right? I think so, something like that. No. But this is going to be a great matchup, and I'm looking forward to see what DK can do as they're going to start off on offense here.
Yeah, definitely excited to see here. DK, a huge opportunity to set a very fast time and get things rolling. We're going to start things off with a sniper on Etney. And I'll help out a little bit. Banny getting completely tossed in the sky. Let's survive, though.
That's one thing we've been seeing the engineer do there for End there. He's been putting the gun outside to deny those early bombs, just kind of being a little bit cute, and nice job there denying Banny as well. Of course, I'm surprised Banny's trying to keep himself alive here. I mean, I think it's almost worthwhile just to suicide at this point. You're only in like a 5-second respawn, and the cart's so far back, but opting to keep himself alive, walking around to the other side, and pretty much the entire K&D combo is just backing up to play it safe.
Yeah, easy start to things here.
Yes, actually, Ender almost gets picked off there by taking his sentry gun with the mark of death over his head. Vipa was almost able to get enough body shots from his ambassador to take him down, and I think if he was using revolver, he might have even been able to pick him off. But here we go, as the first point does go down in the favor of DK, but that's to be expected. The second point is where teams have struggled, and we'll see if DK can attack it any better in this second round.
Yeah, they're gonna just go tunnel right now. That's where Skis is. They might just try their luck down here, use this direct hit, and they do get the sentry gun down early. The direct hit doing wonders for them.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, look at this right now. Nobody is holding outside as Boar getting a nice shot on Ender. Nursey going down as well. Vipa as well as Giraffe. Huge plays coming out from Vipa, and that's going to open up the second point as the Fist of Steel are coming down. Skis needs to make sure that he keeps alive. Slemnish is going to go down on the board. Kresnik is dropping down on the card as well as Etney, but still nobody doing it. But Feint going to try to make a play. He's going to get caught out there. And wow, what a different second point, and huge plays from Vipa stepping up there.
Yeah, that was pretty much a disaster for K&D. You know, they just lost everything right away. The sentry gun going down to the direct hit, they've just been underestimating the damage that can put out quickly. Of course, very smart to whip that out. And then Nursey getting stabbed down, and Ender got sniped even in between that when the sentry had already gone down. There goes Nursey again to Banny, and they're just bringing some severe heat here. DK wants it. Banny must have just really hyped his team up here, because of course they're charging over the top, still rocking that direct hit, trying to pick out Kresnik, trying to get some more frags. Banny bringing the damage out top, but they are way ahead of the cart here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big things that happened there behind the scenes is Feint got a 2K on the cart, which is going to slow it down. So despite them taking ground, they weren't able to take ground with the objective. And I mean, that's one of those kind of hidden gems. But when you can stop the cart from being able to roll forward, I mean, it really does hinder a team, because DK, they just took a lot of ground. They popped their Uber. They didn't get anything with it, but also they didn't get anything with the objective. And Feint is directly behind the combo right now, but not able to secure any frags.
Yeah, we're really going to need a super solid defense here from KND. They're going to really need to just lock this point on so that they can establish some time and really get a bit of defense, a bit of cushion for their own offense here.
And we're also seeing a little bit of a different hold style out of K&D, as they're holding underneath of the tree outside of the house, which seems to be working out for them. And you have to be careful. There can be a sight line slightly if you peek through the window, but if your team is shutting that down, it tends not to be too bad, as Feint again getting caught out there. And this is not looking too bad, 100% for each of the medics. And we can see what we can do there. And this is, yeah, Brick, I'm sorry, this was the hold you were talking about?
This is the hold I was talking about, yes, behind this fence and rock.
Yeah, and so it seems to be working out in the K&D favor right now, as they just can't be forced. But actually, Corsa through the window, nobody was watching it, and Corsa was able to get that free shot onto Nursey. Carl's in a very good spot to try to catch anybody from the backside, but Feint ultimately helps take him out. And this might be an opening for DK, as they currently have drastic Uber advantage.
Nursey does stay alive, as Edney coming in to help out quite a bit. Giraffe also getting a big 3K, wrapping around, killing Boar. Boar had been working the angle from that side really well, getting a lot of damage done, but now K&D have been able to recuperate from the situation here.
The biggest thing is DK, they can't lose any players early on in this push. Let everybody get up, let everybody get forward. Make this a 9v9 with Uber advantage, and you will win this fight. But we'll see what they can do, as they did lose a couple players early on there, but only the pick classes. Banny's going to be leading the charge, going across the point. Banny's going to actually jump over the top. He's going to get Nursey down to half HP, not able to land any of those pipes, but he's going to continue to take ground. Actually, that's Corsa coming in, but nobody's there to support him. Vipa is behind the medic, but not able to get a stab. Kresnik's going to get pushed back here. The cart is still being pushed up, but Kresnik is still alive. Finally does ultimately get taken out, as K&D's going to try to push back onto your Feint coming in, gets a nice stab, and there you go. Skis is the only one left alive in that entire push.
Really big swing there for KND. It was super tight, and then all of a sudden I thought Nursey was going to have to come over the top with that Uber charge, but DK just so lit up, they got wiped out.
And so, Brick, what is the upside of having this hold that's outside of the house?
If you can successfully get level 3 up with your flank holding in this house with that red truck, it is almost impossible to push it to this 4th point. You have to send your entire team with Uber into that red house and push through that shutter door, which can be just so difficult because the red team, the defending team, just has the entire, like, they'll have that whole rock, the height advantage, and they can just spam down everybody by shooting pipes and stickies into that choke, and then the heavies bearing down on you. It just is impossible to push into that.
And it seems to be very impossible right now, as Candy's still holding on to it. The conch does pop off from Envy, and he doesn't seem to be taking too much ground from it. Ultimately, the Ubers do get traded off from each side a little bit better for the offense, but they're not getting too many frags, just taking down Kresnik. As Etney going to do a lot of damage on the Bandy. He's going to actually back all the way off and ultimately crater. And again, DK just kind of being stunted in their pushes.
Yeah, this cart rolling backwards, Catsy's been doing a good job of keeping everybody away from it, so it's still rolling backwards. Finally touched by Van to stop that, and Giraffe recovering and getting back into this fight as well. He was an early drop in that last fight. The team were able to rally together and keep him around. And this hold is definitely turning into something that's they are going to feel pretty good about when it comes to their time to push offense. To really spot themselves some time here.
The only thing I could think of is that if Nursey's holding right outside the house, I feel like that'd be a good suicide way with Corsa and Banny to just jump in and try to make a play on her. As Corsa jumps in and actually gives Nursey an Uber Saw there. God, Nursey's just been so great today, not only in her medicing, but just grabbing those Uber Saws in kind of clutch situations. But Vipa taking down Katsy, who is defending the cart ultimately. But both next up to 100%, so we'll see how DK can deal with this next push. This Giraffe goes down as well, so no Demo Man.
Yeah, that's such a big play. Vipa been going for a Giraffe time and time again. He's going to be coming back. Going to take a second to get in here, though. The Uber is pretty good here. Etney still doing work on the backside. Picks up the health back and just being obnoxious in that house. It takes him so long to get killed there that Kresnik able to stay alive and get some work done. Vipa coming in, trying to get a backstab on Kresnik. He's actually just jumping around. That makes it so hard to Vipa get up there. And then he just kind of actually overjumps Kresnik and gets called out. So this hold continues.
And Slemnish taking down Skis there, so that's going to give the Uber advantage back in the favor of Nursey, and that is exactly the opposite of what DK needs. They've been struggling to do this with even Ubers. I don't even know what they're going to do. Down Ubers, maybe just get aggressive, maybe just try to make a suicide wave, and that's exactly what they're doing. 9 players going down the cart path. This ball of death, they'll see what they can get with the Kresnik's going to get caught out here, and this seems to be working out great for them, as only 3 players are left alive for the defensive side. Only Etney is going to be able to jump in here. He's going to try to make a play on its Skis, but not able to frag with it, and the ball of death from DK seems to be securing this 4th point for them.
Yeah, that was really good plays there. Just moving in together. Jordan actually getting a lot of work done with the shotgun. And the pressure from Corsa. Or sorry, not Corsa. Yes, I'm sorry. Corsa working with Banny getting good damage. Just everybody coming in together, and that's what DK needed.
And we'll see what they can do as they're going to continue pushing on here. 8 minutes and 25 seconds is still faster than the time that was set in the first round at 13 minutes and I believe it's 25 seconds. So they're still on pace despite being slowed down on that 4th point to put up at least a decent time. Van's going to come in here and just kind of scout it out here with the bonk, and Ubercharge's going to be ultimately popped off onto the Banny. And let's see what they can do with it as a conch is going to come onto Etney, and looks like we might have a pause here.
Yeah, I guess so.
We'll see what can come in here, but Brick, man, what are you kind of seeing in this final hold right now out of K&D as I'll look into the pause?
Right now, obviously, we see the Uber Scout looking directly at Nursey. Van's going to try to aim up that meat shot again, meat shot on Nursey. I'm trying to see if Katsy can only see Skis, and she knows that something is Ubered because you can see that Uber chain there. So that's going to be called out. Katsy's going to try to deny Van from pushing it through that door. It may even get Ender to look away, and Ender can actually possibly see Van, maybe not, but it's going to be interesting to see if Van's going to be able to get off a really good beat shot, and then if he's going to be able to follow through with that. There's also a sticky, I think that's a sticky, yeah, from Banny directly on Nursey as well. So really, it could be a really good play here if Van can time up that beat shot with Banny sticky, which he's going to have to get right away. But this could all be, consequential because it could be Nursey that's crashing, and it may not even matter. We don't really know what the pause is for.
Yeah, so I just got word back from Ender when talking with him is that the pause is for items because apparently the item servers have been partially down or mostly down all day today, which is, I think, kind of been slowing them up. And so I think they want to try to figure out what they can do. And for anybody who's watching right now from the STV who's coming in here late, of course, this pause is 90 seconds in the future. It's not in this exact moment. So this has already happened, but let's kind of go over what's happened currently in this match. The match started out on Asheville, went 3-2 in the favor of K&D as they picked that map and they won it. Vanguard went in the favor of 4-0 in the favor of DK. They picked that map and they won it despite losing it in the first best of 3. And currently DK is up 1-0 and not putting up a bad time in the second round. And if they win it, they're going to win it also. We'll see what they can kind of come through with it, but this is looking pretty good for them right now.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to feel real good about this offense. I mean, we have to see the conclusion of it. They could get stuffed on last for quite a while, but they have a really good momentum right now. Nursey, slight advantage. If they can survive, will have an advantage in this Ubercharge, but in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a great play, though, out of DK. I mean, it's not something you see a lot of. I think everybody got whipped up as well as with Corsa, who was kind of going and got a really nice bomb off of that speed boost. But it just was like there's something, I just kind of almost get like that shivers when you see 9 players together pushing. But here comes the unpause, and we'll see what's going to happen out of it as defense from K&D is going to try to come up, but Nursey was able to keep alive despite having the sticky underneath of her feet, but she's actually going to run straight into Jordan. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but that's going to go down. And this is looking very good for DK with only 5 players alive. Make that 4 on the defensive side.
Yeah, a tough situation here for the defense. The cart not being pushed. Spamfest does get down there, trying to shove it in there now. Has the mini sentry and the scout trying to back him up. Other players trying to get in here. Kresnik still in a good position with plenty of ammo. Katsy getting the heals from Nursey, and the defense starting to get stabilized here a bit.
Yeah, but the 100%, the advantage is going to be in the favor of Skis, who's going down incredibly low. Etney getting a lot of rockets onto him, but not able to secure it as Skis now up onto that 100%. And that pick by Jordan taking down Nursey is proving to be probably maybe a tide turner in this game, and so we'll see what they want to do. Is Banny is going to get the Uber popped off into this upper area. He's going to be putting down some stickies, trying to find Nursey, not able to find anything. Actually, this Uber charge is going to be completely useless, but the card is being pushed right now. ×2 onto it. They're doing a lot of damage. Everybody's jumping onto the card. Ender going to do what he can. Katsy's going to fall into the pit, or very close to, as they're trying to defend it. Everybody's running onto the card, but they're just getting cleaned up. Banny is going to be the one to secure it, and potentially his first title as they take it. And I believe, is that 8 minutes and 25 seconds? I think my HUD might be messed up there.
That's what mine says.
You are correct, yes.
Brick, what would you say that as a time? Is that a pretty good time when it comes to Swiftwater?
I mean, for SWIFTWATER, you want a much lower time, since it's obviously much harder to defend.
It's
but
sorry, just I want to break in here. It's 10 minutes and 15 seconds due
10
to
minutes
the
and 15
pause.
okay.
So 10 minutes and 15 seconds
okay,
is the time for the first 5 points.
All right, 10 minutes. I would say that's a pretty good time to defend against, not so much a good time to be pushing into.
Yeah, the first time was 13 minutes, and that's the time that K&D set on their offense, so we'll see if they can beat their time. They are playing for their lives. They need to win this round in order to send it into a golden round. And we'll see what they can do. Is they're going to be starting out on offense here with 15 seconds left in the clock, and we haven't seen too much excitement in the first part of this, but what did you see, I guess, Brick, kind of in that final push and kind of the what happened with K&D's defense that ultimately faltered for them?
2 main things. When DK did that ball of death, that was really good. I like that. They got the key pick on Giraffe, and they just suicided the rest of their players. They didn't have Uber, Nursey didn't have Uber, so it really wasn't much to be wasting, and they had already been spending too much time trying to push into that point. But the big thing really was Nursey kind of just walking into Jordan. That was really questionable and lost about probably a good 20% Uber doing that.
Okay, and D are going to need the offense here. We'll have to see what DK's defense can do. Things starting out just quite all right. No big problems getting through the front door. And getting this first point rolling. The sentry gun is getting pulled back here.
And it's
Spamfest getting set up.
yeah, it's pretty typical stuff that we've seen from both teams. They've been playing incredibly conservatively, which isn't the most unusual thing out of teams on that first point. Just getting out so early to make sure they get that dispenser up and teleport up as well as the level 3. But aggressive play here out of Giraffe. Popping the Uber is actually going to ultimately be an exchange. Catsy doing a good job of pushing them back so they can't come through that gate side. And it'll be curious to see how K&D plays this after getting that exchange.
Now, yeah, they are trying to come up top here. Nursey trying to get in this door. Giraffe is still there, but Nursey has to keep the door open. And there goes Giraffe. Yeah, gonna get taken out here.
Yeah, it was kind of a cute play. It wasn't the worst idea in the world to try to just work them in. I mean, ultimately, Giraffe's going to be up here in 4 seconds, so you're not losing a lot in that process. But actually, what am I saying? Feint takes down Skis. Did I say that already? Because I feel like I've said that 10 times today. Feint takes down Skis, and that's going to give a huge advantage to Nursey, and we'll see what they want to do with it. It looks like they're going to go through the one-way area, so we're going to see a battle coming out here. It's going to be a dry push because they're not going to have Uber charge, so got to make sure Nursey doesn't take too much damage because there's nothing that's going to save them as they have 4 players in this very confined area. Banny putting down a lot of stickies, but Kresnik helping to clean them up, not able to take too much damage down. As Nursey up to 100%, she'll be able to at least keep herself alive. Everybody's backing up. They understand this is the swan song of the second point and just decide to hold the third.
Yeah, looks like there goes the second one for the most part. TK, know that they had to face a tough hold on that third point, so we'll see what they can find there. The Uber coming in here on Giraffe. Giraffe getting good damage here. It's going to be tough for DK. You need to get that cart a little bit closer to the action here, as the spawns on this point are pretty quick here. But Slemnish coming in on Skis. Skis safe for now, though.
Yeah, Skis just being able to keep himself alive. I mean, I feel like it's one of those things we talk about. It's like Skis and Nursey tend to have similar deaths, but it tends to be that Skis has them at the wrong time, though. The last round was somewhat defined by Nursey dying at the wrong time there, but Skis holding on to 100%. So let's see if we can have the chance to keep himself alive, because I believe that was Spy. That was a Spy. That was Vipa who ended up getting the pick there on Nursey. And so that's going to give the advantage back in the favor of Skis as this cart on this third point. But this is a hard point to hold on to for a long time because of how close the cart gets to that edge for free.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what's going to come up here. It looks like K&D is just trying to peek around the corners, just kind of pressing, but not really taking too much ground, just figuring out where they want to push from.
Yeah, and Giraffe taken down from a Boar. Spamfest moving his sentry around. And definitely a pretty solid hole so far by DK.
And this ultimately comes back from the smart decision out of DK, as they knew they were in a bad position in that one-way area and opted to back out. But Yosh does get the headshot on Boar, and so that's going to give at least... Oh, I'm sorry. As I say that, Corsa doing a good job at least taking down Yosh, not allowing that free snipes, as doing a little bit extra damage onto Nursey as well. Nobody's going to be able to clean that up, but... I mean, 6 minutes left on the clock. There's not a lot of time to work with, and we'll see what they can do. As Giraffe's going to be pushing in here. Spamfest, I believe, grabbed his gun and put it into the backside, but the focus onto the cart.
Oh.
They're going to get caught in here. If they're not able to defend this, they need to get out of the third point. They need to do it now.
Oh, they need to finish this capture, though. It has not happened yet for KND, and they were so close. It was a great air blast back from Catsy to keep the players away, but nobody finished the capture. And it makes a huge difference on this point in terms of the defensive spawns.
I really don't think DK should be out here right now. Maybe I will eat my words, but I feel like they should be playing passively, because as soon as that cart captures, they're going to have one exit, and it's going to be through a choke point, which is easily able to be taken down. And we saw what DK did in the second round or the third round, where they just dropped down out of this house area and they just shut it down. I mean, DK, you want to go for extra seconds, but you don't want to give up the fourth point for free by holding this point too hard. Skis went down to Yosh as well earlier on, and so that's actually... I'm sorry, he just went down to Yosh, and that's going to give the advantage back to Nursey, and this fourth point is probably going to go down for free as well.
Yeah, they just lost Banny there, so if they can get a ×3 on the cart, get some bodies pushing it, and they do have Slemnish coming up here, they can make a big dent on this next point and make sure that DK can't establish on this rock. Still definitely plenty of time on the clock for KND to get capture here and push this to a third set.
But with Nursey holding on to that 100%, I mean, yeah, this is looking like an easy walkover from K&D's side. They just need to get the objective a little bit closer. DK playing a little bit passive in this lower area, but the thing is if you give up too much ground for K&D for free, they don't even need to pop through, but they decide to just play it for safe and pop in Slemnish as well as Giraffe here, taking a lot of ground. But they need to make sure they just sustain this push. They don't want to give up DK give him a chance to get back in here. Any going above the cart, losing the 1v1 against Corsa, as Draft is eating some damage there, trying to stop them from re-peaking this. The cart is doing a good job of at least rolling up, focusing that objective, as K&D sustaining this push, but they gave a lot of ground back to DK for them to try to defend this.
Yeah, Feint's trying to come in here, gets gunned down by Van. Semlish also in here trying to get on top of Skis. Not going to be able to get the kill. Jump over the top by Ed. He throws Skis up in the air, but Skis right by that big health pack. And nothing really going on for K&D right now. They do have some time, though, and Nursey with 70% mover charge right now.
And Course is going to try to make a play, but he's got to be careful. I mean, even if you trade out here with Giraffe, he's going to be on a 12-second respawn, which is a pretty fortunate respawn. Not too bad, I suppose, all things given. But this cart, it's in a very good spot, and this is how DK actually won the first round, I believe it was, when they pushed the cart when it was at this angle, because they were able to sneak it in. I wouldn't be surprised if Feint just kind of goes for at least to keep the cart forward, but we'll see what K&D wants to do as we have both teams holding on to 100%.
This could be a good push for K&D here. They're trying to get in here, trying to get yosh some shots to open things up. Kresnik goes down, though. No Carl on the other side, but Corsa jumping forward, trying to open some other kills up. Katsy gets taken out by Boar as she's backing up. Yosh getting in position for a snipe on the side. Just gets Vipa. Not necessarily the biggest kill there.
But the big kills are taking down those combo classes in this moment, and that's just slowing K&D down. 3 minutes left in the clock. We saw DK do it in this exact same situation, but let's see what K&D can do when they're on offense right now. They need this round in order to continue the chances at winning the Grand Finals, and let's see what they can do. They're going to be pushing out of this area, this shutter area. Draft's going to get it ultimately popped on him as Nursey's going to get popped way up in the air. Oh, look at Carl chuckling her in the air. She's going way up. Wrangler jumping is going to ultimately fall back down and save her life. Draft trades out. But wow, like Mary Poppins floating to the ground. She was able to keep her life, and it looks like we're on yet another pause here. And what a moment to grab that on after that Uber exchange. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
Yeah, that was pretty insane. Totally just juggled in the air. Brick, what were some of your thoughts on that exchange and how things are looking right now?
It looked like it could have been in a really good favor for DK there. Had a Pyro could have gotten into a better position to airblast Nursey, and instead of Carl kind of shooting her in the air as if Sigavu said, like Mary Poppins, and it goes to show that Nursey's got wings and was able to get out as well. A lot of players down for the K&D side, but none down for DK. So DK will be able to hold this point. They do have that level 2 gun up. They just need to get players inside of this house where that red truck is in. And if they can get some flank players to hold into this room, it's going to be really difficult for K&D to push into this hold here, as what we saw from K&D last time. And maybe K&D needs to take a page out of the DK playbook, which is, the 9-player ball of death pushing up through the tracks to try to force the card in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, to see what they want to do. But DK seems to be doing a good job of emulating the K&D style of hold. Would you consider that K&D was kind of the ones to kind of start this style of holding, Brick?
I think they were the first ones to do it. I'm not really sure. They were the first ones I really saw playing when I played against them on this map a couple seasons ago. It was the first time I had ever seen a team hold there, and from what I can remember, it was really infuriating to try to push into it. And I think what we ended up doing was we just buffed up our soldier and demo, and they would just fly in up above them, and it was not successful at all, and we were not able to cap the 4th point against them.
Well, we are waiting on the edge of our seats here to see how this is going to turn out.
And I'm kind of seeing if I can pick up logs. I'm kind of curious to see if we can at least see at least the first half of this. As you said, we're just kind of waiting for this pause. I'm not exactly sure what this pause is for, but I'm guessing whenever they need it badly. Because K&D, I believe it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock or so is what they were having left. And the cart got rolled back significantly. And given this position as well, they're going to get their players to respawn. They might be able to do, as we kind of talked about the ball of death, where you just do 9 players straight through the alley and just kind of try to pick off players one by one. This is a situation too where it's like, again, look at where Skis is. Skis is such low health. It's so easy to suicide into, because all you can jump from the main area, you can jump from the tracks and get right there, and you won't potentially be hit until kind of late in the game. But I don't know, right now DK doing a great job of holding on to this point, and we'll see kind of after this pause if they're going to be able to sustain it. But yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that this is what it's all going to come down to, is this hold right here, and to see if DK can do it.
As most people may know now, the reason for the crash is because Bethaniel crashed. So no Baney on DK right now, but I do assume that he will be rejoining here very shortly.
It's not a good player to lose, especially in this situation. If he just dropped randomly, yeah, that might open it up for K&D to be able to push off of.
Yeah, not the best scenario, that's for sure.
The man, maybe he just was like worried that he wasn't going to get his Highlander title, and he just unplugged his computer. He just was like, God damn it, guys. Can't handle this anymore. This is too much for the world.
The pressure.
Why can't I win Highlander?
Well, I think he was figuring out, like, how can he suicide in this game mode, because he's like, he had so much fun killing himself inside of 6v6 and at I-58 with the melee, you know, Boston Bashers, but there's no Boston Basher for the demo man, so I don't know, maybe he can just sticky himself. Maybe that'll make him feel like he's back in England. But we'll see what we can do here, is we're just kind of waiting for this on pause. We guys are as excited as you. For any of our new viewers, we're jumping up to almost 600 people right now.
Nice.
Live watching here. And I'm excited for this. This is going to be a great finish. To just kind of give you a setup for anybody who's joining us in right now, K&D is currently on to this final map. DK won the first round of Swiftwater. We're on the second round, and K&D is on offense with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, give or take, when this pause happened. And they need to win this round in order to put it into a sudden death, in order to give them a chance of winning the grand finals, because right now they are not looking too good. But we'll see what they can do, as I'm going to update my HUD and skis getting the frag. I'm sorry, Edney getting the frag on the skis. I can't even speak right after that pause. It looks so good, and that should open it up for K&D.
Yeah, definitely. They got a short time to work with here, but it's certainly a possibility. The cart is not all that far from this next point, or from the end here. They're trying to recover here. Bombs coming in from Corsa. He barely survives, and then Ender shotguns him down.
And Edney trying to do a bomb again. It did get skis down to about 60 HP, but K&D just playing a little bit safe here, as they decide to back up. Vipa is sitting right behind them, so we see what they can do, as Boar getting a 3K right there, taking down Slemnish as well as Yosh.
Yeah, still the cart, though, stands steady where it needs to be.
And K&D, I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, they had the Uber advantage, and now they're not even using it. Drafts down again, and what was a huge Uber advantage is now dwindling down to nothing. Boar loses the sniper battle as a scout. Slemnish gets picked up onto the card. Looks like we're going to see an Uber push, and that's exactly what's going to be happening, as it's going to be popped off onto the demo, as well as the heavies are trying to get some forward ground. Down goes Jordan. Edney coming over the top, trying to focus down the gun, but ultimately trades his life for it, and this is looking very good. Kresnik is trying to sustain this push, but it's not going to do anything. Van running away, but Nursey able to clean him up, and only 2 players left alive. Make that one who's just the respawn of the scout who ran in to see the slaughter that just happened in front of him, as DK continues to hold on to this point.
And looks like that's where we had the Banny drop. Banny now reconnecting. So not too big of a deal there.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any way for K&D to win this. They need to foot on the pedal, and they have to pray.
Yeah, more than that, they need to speed up the capture time. It's getting really tough here as they're trying to pile it in, but 40 seconds left on the clock. Less than that. Skis standing strong, 100 health, keeping Carl alive. Van right by him. He's got their pyro, keeping everybody nice and healthy. Banny standing tall.
And I wouldn't be surprised to say there's just physically no possible way to capture this cart for the next 2 points in 24 seconds, and we have it right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be DK winning this Grand Championships. Banny finally ending the curse of his never winning Highlander.
Yes, indeed. He is a champion, not a third-place finisher here. Banny and Dunning-Kruger effect are going to hang on in the upper bracket. They do get pushed to the limit, getting the bracket reset and getting taken to the last map here in this final best of 3 series. But winning on Swiftwater.
And before we toss it out to Brick, we will try to get some interviews in here from the champion. So, guys, make sure you stay tuned. But, Brick, what did you see in that final round?
I just saw K&D had a pretty sloppy Uber. I don't know if they were just kind of out of position or when they jumped in, they just kind of got denied by some sort of air shot in the sentry gun. But when it looked like when Etney and Giraffe jumped in, their bombs just got completely denied, and they could not get any sort of pressure on the skis. So skis was able to hold onto the little ramp with full Uber, and then once the K&D Uber was over, DK was able to just collapse right on top of the van, chasing down Nursey, getting the pick off of that, and then after that, all they had to do was just sit back and wait for the time on the clock to tick down.
Yes, indeed. So our man Sigafu, I think, being a little preoccupied, probably trying to wrangle some interviews for us. And that was just a wonderful, wonderful game by DK. The offense just kind of too fast on that second time through. It was a super noble attempt by Kids Next Door, trying that hold on that fourth point from the rock side. Really, really delayed things, but just couldn't match it on their own offense.
Yeah, and so we will have interviews. Who exactly is going to be coming over, we will find out. It'll be at least Carl and maybe a few of the others, but we'll be soon to find out. But again, congratulations to DK, and just a great matchup. I always love it when you can send it to the best of three and you actually go all of the way through. And thank you so much to everybody out in chat. I mean, you guys are amazing. Almost 600 viewers. I don't even know if I've ever even come close to that. I think like 300 is the most I've had before. So I'm really glad that the time and effort that I've put into this has brought you guys out here. And hopefully we have made it worth your stay as we are waiting for some of those DK players to jump in here. I'm kind of curious to kind of look at the stats page. Let me see if I can get the latest ones up. Does anybody have it up, and anything that kind of stands out to them?
The logs are broken right now. That's all I can
Nice.
say. You will notice it the second you see it.
They don't look that broken. Am I crazy? I guess
Just the damage numbers.
Oh, yeah, the damage numbers look a little bit weird there. As we're getting
904.
the people finally in here. Looks like we got Carl and Skis. We'll see if anybody else is going to join us up here. Voxday, grab them up when you can. And we'll talk to some grand champions.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, Carl? How does it feel to be a champion yet again? But hopefully this time it sticks.
Yep. Although it would be pretty funny if it was title revoked twice. I think it would look cool on the DK roster page.
Then it'd be easier to get Banny back again for next season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you make sure everybody recorded? Because that was a big thing.
Told everybody multiple times, so hopefully they listened. They listened last game.
Can't wait to lose my medal after no one recorded.
How was it, guys, having Banny in with you guys today? How much of a boost was that for your team, and how much of a motivator was it as well? It seemed like you guys were really fired up going into that second set of Swiftwater.
I think a big part of it was having Corsa and Banny both on their classes, because they both have like a pretty big boost in DM or the roster we had before. And so I think just like the huge DM increase, and they're both willing to coordinate, and so that just allowed us to really power through.
Nice. Well, you guys picked Vanguard. You guys also had to face them on Asheville. Asheville was very close, just kind of ended up like right down to the wire. You guys must have felt pretty confident going into the Vanguard, but we were a little bit surprised that you guys picked that based off of kind of just your earlier results in the playoffs on that map. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
I talked it over with Course and Spamfest, and we thought that because we could like think about why we lost and learn from it, and we were pretty confident we could adjust what was going wrong, and then also having Course of Soldier would be probably a big upgrade on that map, and then Banny in the regular season did really well on that map, so we thought that it would just play to our strengths and we'd be able to improve a lot.
Nice. You guys get... Oh, go ahead, Siga.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, obviously it paid off for you guys as you went 4-0 very decisively there. It looks like we're brought out here. Let's get a shout out to Boar, Corsa, as well as my boy Spamfest. Are either of you, have any of you guys faint? I just want to double check on behalf of Skis. I just want to make sure he doesn't die in here.
I'm
as
still
well.
turning around. It means nothing, but I'm still turning around.
Okay,
Yeah, Carl, I just want to ask you, how's it feel to win Highlander without a medic?
Whoa.
Well, I mean, we had Meadowy last
My
season.
feelings.
We had Meadowy last season, so I think I'm used to it.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh, meadowy, ooh.
The shots being fired out. Boraman, how did you feel like you did today? I mean, obviously starting out there on Asheville, you seem to be struggling as Yosh, basically 2 for 1G when it came to kills and death, or in terms of kills, but you kind of came out the other side. I mean, are you pretty happy with your performance tonight?
I'm honestly alright with how I did. I think the biggest factor is K&D was just really good at focusing me. They had it really well where Yosh would peek me, and right as he did that, like all of K&D would shoot me at the same time, so I'd get damage punched and I'd just die. And they did a really good job of that.
Yeah, I could see that happening. And of course, my boy, you're coming out here, obviously playing Demo Man for a lot of the playoffs. Now being able to go back to your main, obviously, I mean, you made a big impact on a lot of these different maps. I mean, speak to what it feels like to be able to play your main again, and how nice it is to, like, it seemed like you had a really, really good game today.
Well, it's not really my main, but it felt pretty
guess
good
well,
because
for the season. Sorry.
I was able to like make my own plays, kind of on my own more, but I was able to I wasn't able to like micro our team as much because that was one of our strengths when I was on demo. We were kind of hesitant to do things. So I think I was kind of like calling a lot on Soldier though, especially towards the end. So I think that really helped us.
And Spamfest, my man. I don't know if you got any tonight, but I know you got a couple medic picks in the season during the
Get
playoffs.
a couple medic picks tonight.
That's true, man.
Nursey on SWIFTWATER.
And,
Very happy. I was very happy.
yeah, are you happy with your playoff performance over these grand finals? And you seem to be doing a good job, though. You did crater on that second point of SWIFTWATER. I felt pretty bad for you.
Yeah, that was pretty silly. I don't know.
Stuff happens. Eckstein, any questions you got?
Yeah, Spamfest, it seemed like you had the NG lockdown on SWIFTWATER. I mean, would you agree with that sentiment? Or was there anything particular that you noticed, in that engagement?
It's a team effort, of course, but I'm pretty satisfied with how things went tonight. Very, very satisfied.
Nice.
That's good. Let me see. Skis, I mean, any kind of final thoughts? I mean, are you going to keep playing Highlander after tonight? Because I feel like it's a pretty scary
I kind of hate myself every time I play Highlander medic.
No. But I mean, ultimately, you prevailed. I mean, ultimately coming on top. I mean,
Yeah, shout out to the team carry.
no, it seemed to work out pretty well. But I mean, I think I am good for myself. But Exxon, any kind of final questions, or Brick, any final questions you guys want to toss out here?
Great.
Is DK going to be back next season?
In some form.
Isn't it like every Highlander team? It's like they never really deform. They just kind of come back in a different way with like 5 or 6 of the players back together.
Yeah, from season 11 to season 16, DK was pretty much the same core, but then since then it's sort of been random.
Pretty much Banny retiring now. All right, I won Highlander. My life's complete. He's done with TF2.
Yeah, is Beatty done with TF2 Highlander forever now that he's finally done it?
I have no idea. You'd have to ask him.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a mystery that will have to remain. Brick, any final questions?
No, that was my final question.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just curious if Boar's got any other snipers out there he wants to shout out. Some controversies about last season's sniper. This year, Boar did a great job. It looked like Yosh was doing a really, really, really good job in that match, but not quite able to stay with you. And, there's got to be some aspiring snipers out there. You want to shout anybody out?
Shout out to my boy Akemi.
Oh my god. Did you just say that?
Cringe.
I did, dude.
Yeah, you're cut.
Inside
Shout out
jokes
to
abound.
Carlson. Honestly,
You.
what a great sniper.
The Baskel?
Up and coming. Hell yeah, dude.
That sniper in plat, haven't you heard?
Down and down.
All right, well, let's continue it down the line. Brick, any shout-outs you want to give?
Shout out to, obviously, the new guys of Boat Team and Turquoise Jeep, Ride or Die.
Corsa.
Shout out to DK for winning plat once.
All right. There you go. Eckstein, my man.
Oh man, shout out for you having me here, Sigafu. Shout out to Mustard. He couldn't make it, but he's a great guy, and definitely shout out to Brick for being here as well, and Vox Day, our cameraman.
Carl, my main man. Who do you want to shout out?
To Zachary.
There you go. Short and
And
sweet.
DK.
Skis. Who do you want to shout out?
Okay, first of all, to all the haters out there, right? It's just a fact that Carl and Benny have never won Highlander without me, so there we go. And then shout out to my teammates. On the contrary, shout out to my teammates for carrying me.
There you go. Spamfest, my man.
Just shout out to Pigeon, June, Ender, Split, Aggressor, more people I can't think of. Sorry.
All the people of Vox Day, take yourself off of mute, the man behind the cam. Toss the hearts out in the chat. Consistently here every fucking week and doing a great job, guys. Give the love to Vox Day and let the man speak. Who do you want to shout out here tonight?
Yeah, I got a couple. I'll make it quick. First, shout out UGC just in general. I think the past few seasons have been kind of rough, but guys, if you're there, we had 600 people in chat. If you watch the VOD, if you're watching it now, check out UGCLeague.com. Yeah, sign up Iron Steel. If you think you're good enough for Platinum, just go for it. And don't at all, ever. But yeah, definitely get involved. Come TF2. It's huge. Shout out to DK and K&D. You guys put on 2 excellent shows for us, and Sigafu, Eckstein, Mustard, who isn't here. I think you guys have done a lot to get us to the point that we have 600 viewers. So good stuff. Good work out there. All right, go hit the showers.
It's good as always. And I will end us off here. Thank you, everybody. Seriously, here in chat, we're still at 350 people. I just want to say, it's all I can't tell you how long I've been wanting to cast a grand finals in North America. I mean, I guess I did it back with XTV, but ever since I've really kind of that was kind of back when I was tuning it on the side, and I've been putting a lot more work into what I do, as well as putting a lot of work into production, and did the hype video today and all the different stuff. And I'm just really appreciative of everybody who came out here and showing their support, not just to casting, but to Highlander and all that different stuff. I really love you guys so much, and all of your terrible, terrible memes and spam and chat. But you make it worthwhile, and I'm really glad to have you guys out here, and look forward to hopefully doing some more. Thank you again. Also, I'm going to say, I don't usually go long on these things, but thank you again to Vox Day. I really... because I think we were going to do casting, and then he ended up kind of just sticking to the camera side of things. I think you did at least one game together before you did most of the camera stuff, and it just I've worked with Vox Day. I've been talking with him, and I just think that especially these last few games, he's been doing just such a phenomenal job. It's one of those things that you don't really pay attention to unless you do it wrong. And I think he's actually been doing really great at it, and I really do appreciate him. Eckstein, my man, thank you for coming out here and helping me get the VODs and all that different stuff set up, and also helping me get into casting way back in the day. I'm going on long. I don't fucking care. I apologize, everybody. Okay, and lastly, Mustard and Brick. Brick, thank you for being the man, the analyst here. I know it's not the most glamorous job, but you do a great job at it. And, of course, Mustard, who's not here tonight, who is... always there to shit talk kids in scrubs, but still does such a good job casting, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys, everybody, for coming out here tonight. Once again, thank you so much to the grand champion DK, as they are going to be winning this title. Again, Banny finally getting his title. Carl, you look so beautiful here tonight. Thank you so much for joining me out here, and I hope you guys all have a great night. Later.
Good night, ladies.
See you next time.